Rene, you got my copy of Dune?
I do. Yeah. There you go.
Haha, yeah. So how is it?
Yeah, do me a favor. Do not open this in here.
Why?
Well, it's actually, they have a saying for this. If you open this, you'll be doomed.
Duned?
Doomed.
Doomed.
Doomed. Yeah, just don't open it right now.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna open this.
Wait a minute!
Okay.
Sick dude.
Nick, don't!
What? Maybe I want to get doomed. Ooh. Take me!
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 188. My name is Rene.
It's Bryan.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
To answer your question, the Oscars are, I think, this weekend.
Is
Are
it
they this weekend?
I think so. It's like, it
Oops.
might be this weekend or
It's
next
at the end of the week. I mean, the end of the month. I was like, because Rene pulled out the envelope and he was like, "When is this? Like, when do we
I'm
need
like, when's
these?
that happening?
Like, when do we need these?" And I was like, "End of the month." And he goes, "Okay." That's why I was like,
because I don't know. That's
"Yeah." And then I asked you, and you're like, "Oh, this week?" I'm like, "Oh no."
Can you look it up real quick? I think it might be, because I know the SAG-AFTRA awards were...
SAG.
Yeah, the SAG Awards were last weekend, I think, on Netflix.
Robert Downey Jr. won a lot of stuff, didn't he?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
The
So-
funny thing is, I was seeing on
March
10th,
10th,
so next week.
Next weekend.
Next weekend. The funny thing is, I was seeing certain Twitter accounts post like probability of like certain the nominees winning the awards, and I'm like, I get that like people are trying to project and think about like, oh yeah, I think that this might be like a surprise win or something like that, but I'm just like,
I should have looked up
If
odds
you
in
know-
Vegas before.
for what this? If they won a Golden Globe, you know that they're gonna win the Oscar.
Yeah,
It's
but,
like an almost apples to apples comparison, dude. At
Do you-
that point.
yeah, but they still have like
Golden Globes actually has more categories than the Oscars do.
Does it really?
Because they split dramas and
Tele-
comedies
Is it?
in
But
two separate categories.
but is it more televised or is it more?
I think the
awards?
Golden Globes televises more awards.
Yeah, because I feel like
Yeah.
the Oscars has just as much, but they're just not all televised.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the categories are different. You can
Mhm.
have Best Actor in a drama and Best Actor in a comedy,
Right.
and they might both be in the same group nominated for the Oscar awards.
What are we talking about?
You asked when the Oscars were.
I didn't think you were going to bring it up.
I know.
And get in the
I
top of
think
the
we're going
show.
to get into a
Okay,
borrowed
literally,
conversation.
Renee
about
was
it.
just like, "Oh, we're gonna start at the 2-minute mark," and right as soon as he was about to breathe, you were just like, "What are the Oscars?"
It's like, this bitch.
We both looked at you. I think at this point,
You both
you and
ignored
I are
me.
kind of in
You
sync.
both ignored me.
You and I are both in sync when we know that Nick's gonna just f something up like
Yeah.
really
How
badly.
did I F that up?
Okay, when we were in the theater yesterday and you fell asleep, like we both like looked at each other at the same time, going just like,
In my defense,
There's no
I was
defense. You
tired.
fell asleep.
You fell asleep too.
I did, but it didn't go.
I'm sorry. I have sleep apnea. Leave me alone.
I know, it's me too, honestly.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've been, I don't know why I get these ads and I'm kind of a little offended like that I'm getting so much of these ads out of nowhere. Is that I'm getting the ads for what's the thing called hostage tape?
What is hostage tape?
So basically it's for sleep.
We're not
apnea
sponsored by
people.
hostage
No, we're
tape,
not,
but I
sponsored.
really want to be.
Yeah, so basically it's like a little easy removable tape that's like easy to come off. It doesn't feel, apparently I didn't know this was a thing too. People that do have sleep apnea, because apparently you're not supposed to breathe with your mouth when you sleep.
Okay.
That's one of the things of sleep apnea as well too. So people just get masking tape or tape in general and just like tape their mouth shut so you can breathe out of your nose when you sleep. I'm like, that's dangerous. What if someone was like really mad at you when like
You already done half the work,
right? Like, that's scary to me. I'm just sleeping like.
I'm not gonna lie. I really want you to look up hostage tape.
Like,
Please look up hostage tape for me. I want to know what it looks like.
so it's just hostage tape is just a black like tape and stuff.
Keeping
like
up with the nerds.
So
Sponsored
duct tape.
by Ring.
It's basically that,
So
but it
the
doesn't
camera to
hurt
protect
when you
you.
remove it.
So duct
so,
tape.
so just get sponsored by Ring and hostage tape.
Oh my
Ring,
god,
hostage tape, and BetterHelp.
Better.
that sounds like a cocktail somewhere.
And Factor Meals.
Hostage tape. Just go to images. I just want to know what in the world is this.
Yeah. So, or you could. It's also
You put it on your nose too.
because it opens your nostrils.
What in the?
That's a thing.
The packaging is great.
All right, see how we can get sponsored by them.
Oh my god! See if there's a sponsor page.
Yeah, do that, dude. Why not?
Look at the very top. Accept.
We're already giving them a free promo
Why?
with this.
Why
Merch, sleep
no strip?
quiz, non-strips.
Well,
You gotta go all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. You usually have it. All right. Usually says like, "Do you want to be a partner?"
It just says.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Renee, don't you have a story?
Yes,
Tell
I
us.
do. Yes, so that. But okay, that's not the story. But I was like, that's what I've been getting. Just
I haven't gotten that.
I've gotten that because I have sleep apnea, so it's funny.
Monica says I have sleep apnea. I feel like I shouldn't trust her.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean, I really want to. I do want to get something for my sleep apnea soon. Because Maddie keeps telling me like you need to get those breathing masks. I'm like, oh, so you can hear the.
I know.
You'd rather have that than me going. So apparently,
because Monica tells me that apparently I stop breathing.
no, that happened to me too.
So apparently, according to Monica, apparently I do. And then she goes like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And apparently it wakes her up because it's like I was coming out from being drowned. I'm just like,
yeah. So sometimes that happens to me too. Like I'll be there and I'm like, and I'm just Maddie's like, babe. I'm like, I'm like, what happened? She goes,
Where am
"You stopped
I?"
breathing. And I was like, yeah, I can tell I did. I was like,
where am I?
like, no! Like,
I just want, you know what? You should do that one of these things and go like, where's my wife? And just be like, what are you talking about? Where's my wife?
So that's the thing. I might look into hostage tape because it says like you're supposed to. It just helps you breathe from your mouth, your nose.
If you
essentially.
get it, let me know how it is.
Yeah.
And if I have to buy hostage tape, that's gonna be hilarious.
just like, all right, bye. And like, good night, babe. And I want Monica to take a picture of you. Because apparently it also works when you have like a mustache and
mustache?
beard. Yeah, so it doesn't hurt when you take it
Oh,
off.
okay.
And stuff.
Well, that's why the guy has a goatee.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
So I do have a story because this happened to me yesterday.
funny. Okay.
And I didn't want to tell you guys yesterday because I wanted to save it for the podcast because it's just a random encounter. So I was just sitting here at the store yesterday, and then basically this guy comes in, but he was walking down, so I can see him walking down from the windows and stuff like that. And mind you, this is like probably a 40-year-old bicep-looking dude and stuff. He comes in, and I'm already kind of like making eye contact with him, and he comes in, and then he opens the door. He's all, hey, and I'm like, hey, man. And then he's kind of like looking around. He kind of goes like this, and I can tell he's kind of on something in a way. Like he's either drunk or he just took something.
Okay.
So then he's kind of like looking. He's all like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, do you have a question? He goes, No, I'm just like an artist myself. I'm like, oh, cool. He goes, yeah, DC and Spawn. I'm like, did you work on those? He goes, no, just those I got. And I was like, oh, you mean you were collecting those when you were younger? He goes, yeah, and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, this is all my stuff. This is my jam right here. He's kind of talking in and out. I can hear. He sounds like the guy from Waterboy. Not Waterboy, that, and then also from Joe Dirt. He goes, home is where you make it. He's like almost naked. He's like, no, home is where you make it. He's like,
all right, man, that's cool. Whatever you want.
And so he was kind of, it was like when he kept talking, it was going in and out like that.
All right.
I would hear every other word. And he comes up, he's like, oh yeah, this is my stuff. Yeah, She-Hulk, Star Wars. Ooh, Star Wars. He's like, I'm like, okay, cool. And then he's like, you got to be like up here. You can't be down there and not in between. And I'm like, oh, okay.
What does that even mean?
I'm like, all right. I'm just agreeing at this point, I feel like any little thing will send him off.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, up there, down there, around here and stuff, and the rich and stuff. They're like, DuckTales, woo! And I'm like,
wait, what?
Verbatim, that's how it went. He's all just up there, down there, not in between, but the rich and stuff, like DuckTales, woo!
Dude, I feel like he was like he's all knowing.
Yeah.
Like he's living multiple.
So then I'm like, yeah, Scrooge McDuck, right? And he goes like, you know it. He just walks out. That's it. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there. I'm literally baffled. I'm just kind of like, and I just start laughing to myself because he just literally just went like just gibberish and just went DuckTales, woo, and he said it so perfectly. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, oh,
You need to have a GoPro strapped to yourself, dude.
Right?
I think at this point, with the number of encounters that you've had,
it's
a series on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whittier's a hot mouth.
It is.
No, but honestly, I feel like he was like listening to like multiple realities at the same time.
He was like Dr. Manhattan.
He was like Dr. Manhattan, and he was
seeing different possibilities.
He's just seeing like all these different conversations, and he's like, and he's responding to you, and you're going like, what? But in another one, he makes perfect sense.
In one reality, he's talking about like
DuckTales?
Childhood shows.
Yeah.
He's all like, oh, you watch DuckTales? Yeah, DuckTales. Woo! It's like, but it was in this time. He was doing it. Yeah.
He's Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
You made Dr. Manhattan, dude. That's sick.
Dr. Manhattan.
I honestly thought it was gonna be like, hey, fool, are you Rene?
Hey,
are you
in it?
Are you keeping up with the nerds, fool?
Right.
I'm a nerd too.
I'm on there too. Yeah.
Why are you just staring?
I'm letting you have your moment.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't like it. It feels weird.
What would you want from me?
I don't know.
What would you want? Because if I interject, you talk over me. If I don't interject, you'd be like, well, I don't like you not talking.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Well, I'm not gonna be a punching bag, dude. Not this issue. Not today. No.
Now you know what the punch bag is? Dune Part 2.
Is it?
All right.
We're gonna be talking about that.
Yeah, we're talking about that. That's what
we've got comic strips, and I think we mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
That people were like liking the fact that we were talking wrestling here and there a little bit. Did we talk about? We didn't talk about Elimination Chamber.
No, because it wasn't on upon recording.
Did we record and then go home to watch Elimination Chamber?
Yeah,
you fell asleep halfway through.
I couldn't last, man.
Dude, it was all the way up until 5 a.m.
Yeah,
I was ridiculous.
At that point, I woke up at like 6 a.m. to finish it.
To just finish the rest of it.
Yeah,
I
didn't have to leave.
I was like about to go to sleep, but I'm like, dude, it's already the men's chamber. I've got that, and then the women's championship, and I'm like, you know what? I'll pull through. I push through.
You're wondering why you're tired.
Yeah, I think that really actually did mess me up for the whole week.
I got like 4 hours of sleep total that night.
That was a fun work experience for you then.
Yeah. Ugh.
So we're going to talk about a little bit of that. We got comic strips, and we got Dune, which I think will take a majority of the show. Yeah. Because that was a 3-hour movie. Did it feel like it, though?
Yeah.
Let's see how
it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, but it felt like 3 hours.
Oh, that was an experience. But in terms of wrestling, what do you want to talk about in terms of the Elimination Chamber? Oh, wait, before we even do that, keepitupwiththenerds.com, all the up-to-date information. I forgot about it. My bad. Social media.
2 hours and 46 minutes. Huh?
2 hours 46.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Facebook,
it's
X.com.
IMAX.
YouTube.com/keepitupwiththenerds. and audio platforms: Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify. Oh, quick little thing. So I mentioned to you guys before, but shout out to the Mazer Brothers, Super Mazer Brothers. Go check them out on Instagram. Go check out their store, supermazerbrothers.com. They're doing giveaways because they just released their snapbacks this last week.
They're nice.
They're
very
a pretty sick design.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah. So if you guys don't follow their Instagram page, go follow them because they've got some pretty cool designs or pins, stickers, and they've showcased a couple hats already before.
Yeah. Really dope.
I think Lewis was wearing one.
He was, but was it his design?
Mhm.
Was it the LA or not LA Blastoise, but what it was the play on that?
Yeah, it was a play on it, but they were the hat that George was wearing is the hat that they just released.
Oh, okay.
Wait, are you serious?
It was a prototype of it. Yeah,
Yeah, they told
So
that to us.
because
Yeah.
during their thing they
right.
had said that the hat that George was wearing was was a prototype.
Well, that's pretty cool. But they
Yeah, it
always
looks
do
great.
they do random giveaways every time they do a new drop. Every now and then they're doing it more often now that people are picking up on them. So go for it. Go follow them. Shout out to the Super Mazer Brothers because you guys are great. I won one of their giveaways randomly, which is a surprise because I usually don't win any random giveaways. So it's great. You guys get a chance to get some cool merch from them. But shout out to you guys. Wrestling. Elimination Chamber. What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the first match, which was the women's elimination chamber.
Okay.
That wasn't too bad.
Huh?
What?
Brock Lesnar just coming, duty,
Just coming in.
Yeah.
Who am I
Brock
going?
Lesnar's daughter.
Who am I going to assault?
They keep bringing up in the news, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
What? Brock
Brock
Lesnar?
Lesnar. And I'm like, it's over and done with. He's going to be out of WWE. He's already been scrubbed out of the whole network.
Yeah, they're just gonna run him out of his contract. So, yeah.
But like the fact that they keep bringing his name in is just kind of weird.
Well, that's the thing. Is like it's an ongoing investigation.
It is.
It is an ongoing investigation, but have they proven that it was him?
They are witnesses saying that he was there in the room, and he had some parts to play.
But there's a lot of news coming
And then
out.
there's also allegations that he.
Didn't he have another one too?
Yeah,
He has another woman that also.
Yeah,
complained.
a woman came out and saying that he was doing sexual favors,
But,
it was part of his contract with
That he needed
Vince
women.
McMahon. Basically, he would have his way with women. Whoever-
Rock?
Yes. Apparently,
Well, that's
that
a
was
shame.
stipulated in his contract. He
Could
gets
you
to have-
imagine that? That'd suck.
Yeah.
Like,
For it to be written in the contract?
yeah, like, could you imagine like you as like a woman?
Yeah.
They were like, now stay in this room, and whoever walks through that door, you have to sleep with.
Yeah.
And then Brock Lesnar walks in, and you were like, oh god damn it.
It doesn't shock me after reading the lawsuit
Yeah.
because the lawsuit itself was gross.
Yeah.
So when you say like, "Oh, could you imagine?" I'm just like, I don't want to imagine it,
That's-
but I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, in all fairness, it's not the darkest thing that Vince and them have done.
Yeah.
Like wrestling is pretty,
Wrestling has a lot of.
It's
dark
got a lot of
secrets.
skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
we were going to talk about the women's elimination chamber that led into Brock Lesnar. How?
No.
How did you? Why? Yeah, okay.
He's like, I'm not gonna say anything.
So the
We're talking about women's elimination, and then Brock Lesnar automatically came ahead.
no, that shouldn't be the case. Women's elimination. chamber.
Elimination chamber. What ended up the way that I thought it was gonna be. I knew Becky was gonna win.
I think everyone knew Becky was going to win.
I didn't think. I mean, and then we were talking about it on the way home from watching Dune.
Didn't Becky also win the Royal Rumble?
No, that was
No.
Bailey.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's different.
And it was a B name.
Yeah.
And so I knew Becky was gonna win because it made sense to have Becky the man versus Rhea Mommy Ripley.
Yeah.
You know, and
Is that actually what her name is?
well, I mean, yeah, that's her
She's in the
nickname.
mommy era.
Yeah.
What do you mean, mommy era?
So like wrestlers will have different eras.
Mhm.
So right now, Rhea
She-
Ripley is
yeah.
in mommy era.
She had her like beginning era, which is her starting out, and then now it's at her. She's peaky now, which is her mommy era, and stuff. Because Dominic Mysterio calls her mommy.
They're just
Yeah,
stories. I don't
yeah.
know what to tell you. They're just stories. It happens.
Well, because like they played on the whole Eddie Guerrero being "I'm your papi," but Rhea Ripley persuade Dominic to join the Judgment Day, but saying "I'm your mommy"
Mhm.
and stuff. So,
So the side by side comparison is Eddie Guerrero and China, and this is Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
It's like parallels. That's the whole bit.
Mhm.
You don't need to understand it. It just exists. I don't know what
Yeah.
you want, dude. If it doesn't make any sense to you, it makes sense to the wrestling
Yeah.
fans.
No, I'm just.
That's all it is.
and then the tag team match was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't care for it. Honestly. The Judgment Day versus what is it?
It's Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne.
Mhm.
I forget their.
Dunne?
I don't like Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
I don't like their tag team name. It's too.
Oh
long.
yeah, what is it? It's the
Dudley Do Right.
no.
But it's along the lines of
yeah.
how long you said. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
the
thing.
length of it is you're on.
It's
point.
all right. But I didn't see them winning
2
for
points.
tag team titles.
No, they weren't going to
Yeah.
win. But 2 points that I want to bring up for the women's elimination chamber. I think Australia was kind of like weird, the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
because they were rooting for Tiffany Stratton to win,
Mm-hmm.
and were booing the fact that Liv Morgan knocked her out.
Yeah.
But if they watched SmackDown,
Mhm.
Liv got pinned down
Mhm.
by Tiffany.
Yeah.
So it only made sense for Liv to get her revenge back.
Yeah.
She's also young. She just came into SmackDown.
Yeah. She literally got signed in 2 weeks ago
Yeah, exactly.
before Elimination Chamber.
Makes no
it's
sense.
way too early. That's
Way
the
too
thing.
early for them to start making wins.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense for her to actually peak right now. Just have her
Mhm.
build up, and that's fine.
That's the thing.
And then, like all of a sudden, you were also talking that people were interested in Liv winning the elimination
Yeah,
chamber.
which doesn't make any sense because Liv is not a formidable opponent against Rhea Ripley.
No, it is. That
That's
is not.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Men's elimination chamber.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. That wasn't too bad.
Love seeing Logan Paul get torn to bits, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his reel?
No.
Where he was locked up in the chamber and
Yeah.
he had those like, oh, I'm
He
drying
snuck
horns.
in. He snuck in a little mic too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he snuck in a little mic, and then he's a black magic marker, and he's like writing in the clear chamber and stuff. He's all like writing horns. He goes, I'm putting devil's horns here because I'm on demon time. He's all, and then he writes like Kevin Owens is fat. One of the opponents in Elimination Chamber, and he just writes like he just draws a fat body. He's like, this is a accurate representation of him and stuff. It's just he's just
Then
having
it
fun.
cuts to Kevin Owens just
Yeah.
smacking his
Yeah.
head back and forth on the plastic.
Yeah,
It's great.
it was good.
He also gets RKO'd.
He does
Really good.
Yeah.
I
I like how Nick was just like keeping a straight face the whole time.
You know what scene that reminded me of? How I Met Your Mother when Marshall's at the art gallery and the Skittles start to
Yeah.
He just start falling through his pocket.
Okay, that was great.
In all fairness, that's why I was like, I'm gonna keep it away from the mic.
It didn't
Yeah.
work
I'm
out.
gonna put it down here.
No, unfortunately,
and go,
I upped the gains a bit.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you messed
because
up.
I just
yeah.
went. "Gah!" And I'm like,
How did I pick that up?
no, because I was about to do it right here, and I'm like, that's
What?
dumb. I should do it down here.
Still
Yeah.
dumb. The only point I want to bring up in terms of wrestling,
Yeah.
really only main point, because right now it's too soon to talk about Cody, Seth, The Rock, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's still like still more than like a month away.
They just talked about it on SmackDown today. The Rock, all I'm going to say is The Rock basically turned bitch.
Yeah.
Because he's now acknowledging Roman Reigns.
He
So
has
he's
to.
not Big Daddy Rock. He's more like, I'm beneath Roman.
Yeah.
Sucks. I don't like that. I do.
Kind of has.
No, but
I like it.
Here's the thing, though. That does make sense, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because what it really was is like, who's the champion? Who's the champ right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
And The Rock is not the champ right
No.
now.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is.
Mhm.
And if Roman is kowtowing to The Rock, well, what's the point of me having the championship? Then you should be fighting The Rock.
No,
you shouldn't be fighting me.
100%. I get that.
Rock has to bow down to him.
I just don't like characters that talk big and then lower themselves down a little bit. It's too big of an ego for the position he's in right now.
But look at the entire thing. Roman Reigns is not a great champion, so what they did is they had to bring The Rock back
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
to bring
strengthen the bloodline.
to strengthen this like arc that they're on because he's not a big enough get.
No, he's
Honestly, Roman Reigns is not. He's not a Rock. He is not a Triple H. He's not a
not.
Stone Cold
You
Steve
saying that
Austin.
might cause people to get angry because.
He-
but you're not. I'm not disagreeing. You're right. You're
You have a
right.
point.
Yeah, your point. But there's wrestling fans would be like,
No, but
take that back.
but the thing is that hold on. But those people, those wrestlers, could hold their own storyline without having to get somebody from the eras,
Mhm.
like pulling back and kind of getting the nostalgia back to make them relevant.
No, and you're 100% right. I mean, we all knew that Roman Reigns was a part-timer, only showing up on SmackDown probably once every month or so.
Yeah, well, with WrestleMania coming up, he's doing it back to back. And I'm shocked that they did it last week, or the week prior, and then now this week they're back on and stuff. Because now, anytime that they're on, it sells out.
Yeah.
This week on Friday they sold out this tickets in Phoenix, Arizona.
Because Rock was
The Anaheim ones tickets were selling for almost $250-$300 for like nosebleeds.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean, though, is that like we had to bring The Rock back.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes wasn't a big enough name. Roman Reigns wasn't a big enough name. Seth Rollins isn't a big enough name.
I wouldn't say that it was a big enough name, but they needed to have better momentum. The names are big.
I feel
they wanted more momentum forward for WrestleMania.
I feel
40.
like what they didn't do with Roman Reigns, they didn't properly advance him to be champ.
Yeah.
Like when The Rock became champion, you had, not only did he take over when Austin was hurt, but then when Austin came back, they had a blowout fight, and it was like, we're 1-on-1.
Yeah.
We get it. The Rock lost. Austin got his title back because technically The Rock only got it because, he was injured. Then you have The Rock coming back, beating Austin, and then you have John Cena, the whole John Cena thing. Then you had The Rock fighting Hulk Hogan, where it was like this like final, like, okay, we're gonna say goodbye to Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan was like one of the biggest names at a certain time. And so with him beating him, it's like, oh dang, he's a big deal. He beat Hulk Hogan. Seth Rollins, oh well.
Well, yeah, because people are saying that his matches are kind of getting stale. To a point, I kind of agree. I think he kind of did need to take a break because you were overfeeding too much.
Yeah.
You were overfeeding the fans with a match every single week to defend the title. And you need to kind of have people hungry a little more to make that title appealing.
Yeah.
So I get that. And I don't disagree with you. I don't see Roman and Cody being a big enough name to move WrestleMania 40 as a big enough title. I think that it is, and it eventually would have gotten there on their own. But you're right. The Rock was that kind of like, instead of having a lighter to match this, like, this string, they put a bomb and they're trying to sell tickets out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Plus, this is WrestleMania 40. It's 40 years of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's a decade.
It's a milestone.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like the names that are in wrestling right now are not as big as.
They're big.
They're big, but they're not as like iconic.
They're not. They're not
legacy.
reaching out to the general public.
Yeah.
Which I know what you mean from there. That's the thing. And I think now Cody, with his involvement with The Rock, is now being pushed. He's reaching out there into basically the ether and stuff like that.
He's trying to get into the casual market, which is kind of what's needed because no one knows who Seth Rollins is. No one knows Shield Seth Rollins. They only know Seth freaking Rollins. No one will know who Becky Lynch is. No one really knows who Rhea is if it wasn't for the memes or Liv Morgan.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, Dominic Mysterio is only really famous because of the Mysterio last name.
But that's the thing, though, is that, like, okay, even take it to, like, Hulk Hogan or even, like, Austin or John Cena or anything like that. Even if you weren't a wrestling fan, you knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was.
Oh, yeah.
If you weren't, like the whole beer can thing and everything like that, just sucking them down.
Stunners.
Austin 316 on him. Then you also have what was it? John Cena. This thing just be like invisible. You can't see me.
Yeah.
Like that became him and jorts.
Rey Mysterio's mask.
Rey Mysterio's
Show.
like the Big Show. Come on, like all these names went into pop culture.
Undertaker.
The Undertaker, hell yeah! Like, come on, it's the Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows who the Undertaker is.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think it's that I didn't see it that way, where they don't have legacy names, and so you have to bring them back to make them relevant. But yeah, again, WrestleMania 40, it's a milestone. You have to have that momentum.
Yeah,
that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
The last one I do want to bring across is the Max Dupree thing that happened, which I only have a small opinion on because the context wasn't really there, and I think that wrestling fans were being the usual dumbasses that they usually are.
Yeah.
So at a live event, Max Dupree is 1/4 of a team called the Alpha Academy.
Okay.
She was a former cheerleader who just started wrestling like maybe 2-3 years back. and she recently started getting in-ring matches.
Okay.
There was a live show that happened where she wrestled someone, and as she was getting walked out, the crowd was booing her, and not just kind of like booing her like, oh, this sucked. It sounded a little bit kind of harassy, like they were kind of like harassing her in a way.
What does harassy mean?
Kind of like
How do you boo someone and be harassing?
like calling her names as
Okay,
she's walking
isn't that
out.
just booing?
When you're being disrespectful, like
But no. I'm asking. I'm legitimately asking. Like, what's
Yeah.
the difference? What's the difference from what was it? From any other wrestler walking out there getting called names and
When
being
it-
booed from her?
in sports terms, if you are watching a team you don't like, or a team did really bad and you're just going boo, that I think is okay. But when you're going out there calling her like a bitch, or like, you know, disrespecting her using other foul language, not just kind of like in regards to
That's sports, sir. Unfortunately, that's
it is sports, but is it excusable?
I'm not saying it's excusable. I'm just saying in general, like it's one of those things of like that's just sports. That's
So
because people take sports too serious.
yes,
Look at the guy who beat somebody to death for when the Giants won against the Dodgers.
oh yeah, no, there's
And somebody got somebody got a concussion and died
the
from a brain
ultras,
hemorrhage.
the ultras in any football team that's in Europe. It happens. The hooligans in Britain, like that's 100%.
Manchester United, which have stabbed people.
Oh, West Ham.
Right.
Yeah, when they're there. I mean, the riots happened.
So the reason I say that, like, I bring it up is because Rene and I were talking about this yesterday, and I forget the point you made, Rene.
Mm-hmm.
But on my side, it was more along the lines of just kind of like wrestling fans are very quick to judge. And I think that a lot of them feel like they know exactly what they should be expecting from certain wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Rene, I'm like, Max Dupree isn't a wrestler that I feel like has gotten her momentum just yet, because she's only been wrestling for like 6 months. Oh, were you showing him images?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just starting out, you know?
She's a model.
Yeah. And
Oh,
she's, I mean, she's athletic, but she hasn't put in enough time to.
She's
She-
a model who wrestles on the side.
That's the thing. Yeah.
She hasn't found a character yet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that people are quick to judge, and they blew it out of they just blew it out of the water. They made
Yeah.
it too big of a deal when it shouldn't have been a big deal.
She's really young. She's only 26. too.
Yeah. And I'm just like, look, I think that people asking her to be off of WWE, I'm like, why? Give her a chance. She hasn't wrestled a lot of people yet. She hasn't had a story developed yet,
Mhm.
because the same people that want her off then complain that there isn't enough variety in the
Mhm.
ring.
That's the thing.
Yeah. And that's my big problem with it.
Yeah, my problem is already what you said earlier is about how they were telling her that they should take her off the roster. I'm like, she just started.
Mhm.
She's barely done 10 matches or a handful of matches, if anything. She needs to be built up a little bit more, obviously, and it's just ridiculous how people are already kind of like expecting the best from her and stuff. When I think what it was is that she basically messed up a few moves at a live show, at a house show, and the match wasn't great. And I'm like, that's fair, because apparently, again, I don't know why people were really kind of like really reeling into her about it.
Mhm.
And it's like, come on, she's young.
CM Punk also botched some moves too.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's done that plenty of times, and it happens. It's a live show,
Yeah.
and any sort of sporting event and stuff like that. You know, you're gonna have a person's gonna miss a step or two. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
But,
people don't care.
but again, their job is to adapt from it. But if it happens a lot and it's out of their control, they're probably, you know, we don't know what was her headspace at the time. Maybe she wasn't in the greatest of headspaces. Maybe she was, you know, out of it a bit, you know, and it happens.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
It happens.
So
It's ridiculous.
I get your point though,
Mhm.
where it's like it's just sports. That's what's
Yeah.
going to happen. Yeah, I see that. I get it. Like it's a factor in
Mhm.
sports that is going to exist no matter what.
Yeah.
But if it exists, you can criticize it.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm seeing these people that are booing someone like Max Dupree and telling her they want her off the roster, and I'm looking at those same people and saying, then I better not hear you guys complaining 2 months, 3 months out from now,
Yeah.
going like, where's the variety? Well, you
Mhm.
guys booed the variety out.
Mhm.
You guys are specifically choosing wrestlers that appeal to you at that one moment and not thinking about the future. You want Tiffany Stratton on there? Let her develop. Don't
Mhm.
give her a title just yet. Don't
Yeah.
imagine her winning Money in the Bank. Let her earn it. Let her get her stripes. Then
Mhm.
she's able to perform well. You have a longer catalog there.
That happens a lot more with wrestling fans when a new person comes in. It doesn't, when they were doing that with a certain amount of wrestlers, a handful of wrestlers, they were really pushing. One being in particular is, for example, Roman Reigns. When he first started out, he was being pushed so much. That's the thing. They had him they gave him a title shot, and then he got a title. They have him face Undertaker, and he won against the Undertaker at WrestleMania. That's the thing. And it's like, why do you keep thinking that we're gonna like this? That's the thing. He hasn't.
Didn't he beat? Wasn't he like one of the only people to ever beat the Undertaker?
Yeah, but he wasn't the first one. Brock Lesnar was
Brock
the
Lesnar
first one. But then
not anymore.
And it happened.
The man with no name.
Yeah. And
that event never happened.
And then
he's still. What is he still 50-1? He's 50-1 now.
Yeah, basically. And that's the thing. And so, but the thing is that now you have people that how they treated Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Cody Rhodes. He put in the time. He put in the effort. He's been doing every single show, every single night.
But I feel like Cody Rhodes has definitely gone through a journey of character.
Oh, he's
That's
gone
the thing.
through. He's gone through everything.
He is definitely.
And that's why his story is so much more interesting. That's the thing when you think about it.
How did they explain him not being Stardust anymore?
Oh, that was just the thing that when he came back, he's like, "Don't mention Stardust. Don't mention Stardust."
He left as Stardust, right?
He left as Stardust. Well, because he wanted. That's the thing, and that was WWE's fault because they pigeonholed him into Stardust.
Yeah,
he wanted to do other things. They go, "No, just keep doing Stardust." People like it.
Yeah.
They kept thinking people like it when really it was getting cringy.
Yeah.
It was getting weird.
Yeah, it was getting really weird. And
so, like you were watching somebody who was off his meds.
Yeah.
And he was only getting worse.
Yeah, I know.
That was after his, what is it called? The Undistinguished or whatever?
Yeah.
The whatever, when he was the pretty face.
Oh, Dashing.
Cody Dashing.
Cody
and then he came back, I think after his dad died, right?
Yeah, and he was still Stardust. He was still Stardust and he wanted to move on. But again, it was WWE. They're like, no, hold on. Like Vince kept telling him, like, don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
And
he's like,
honestly, if it wasn't for his stunt in New Japan and then actually helping create AEW, then we wouldn't get the Cody Rhodes we got now.
That's the thing. Yeah, we wouldn't got the American Nightmare. That's the thing.
I just think I just liked Stardust. I thought Stardust was funny.
Some people say, and he has been asked. He goes, "Would you ever in your career bring back Stardust?" He goes, I feel like Stardust is put to bed. At this moment, it's put to bed.
Yeah.
And right now, the American Nightmare story isn't finished yet. So I can't say yes or no to that.
I just think it's funny because I always wanted like a resolution to the Stardust. Because I always thought that it was Cody Rhodes losing his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the whole thing is like he's going nuts.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason why we get Stardust, and then he comes back to reality.
But that's the kind of like sucky thing about wrestling is some storylines just don't finish. You had Chad Gables go after the Intercontinental Champion like a couple months back, loses it in front of his daughter. Daughter's actually crying. That story never finished.
No.
So we like it sucks. Some of those stories just are not gonna work. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Is it right?
Well, to wrap up Elimination Chamber, the main event was great. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. That was a good match. Overall, I liked it. It was good.
Rhea can take a hit.
Yeah.
Rhea can take a hit. I don't think Nia Jax
takes a bump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch some highlights from that match? She can take a hit, dude. It's surprising. Good for her. She cried after when the camera switched off.
The way you say that makes me cringy.
Man, that she took a hit?
Man, she could take a hit.
Because Nia Jax doesn't hold back.
Yeah.
I don't know. How's it cringy?
I don't know.
Double entendre.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I was like, what? I'm praising her for being a good wrestler. That's all it is. Yeah.
I thought you were meaning something else. I'm like,
no, but I will say there were some funny gifts because Nia Jax did have her in a weird what is it called when you're a submission position?
Oh yeah,
where she had she ankle locked her, but she
there's some moments
her.
that it's funny. Rhea Ripley knows whenever she's in a match, it's gonna get gift, it's gonna get memed.
Yeah.
So she does purposely do certain positions because she goes. I'm on the Reddit threads. I'm on Twitter. I follow the subreddits, and I see what you guys. Right, yeah, she goes. I see what you guys post and stuff. She was doing an interview, and she goes. And it was like they were looking over tweets and like thirst photos. She goes, "Oh, I know who posted this. She goes, I follow them and I see what they post and stuff like that. So it's great. And that's why I love Rhea Ripley. She knows
her audience.
Yeah, she knows her audience.
She's doing
one time though, she did repost something that she didn't know what it was, because initially she was on this whole thing where she was reposting on her Instagram stories fan art, and she was really flattered by it until one fan art she just had a quick look and just reposted it, didn't see it closely. It was a portrait of her
naked.
No, it was a portrait of her, but someone used it.
Oh,
yeah, a tribute.
Yeah, tributes.
How do you know what those are?
How did you not?
How do you know what those are?
How do you not?
I'm just asking a question. How do you know what those are?
How do you not?
Because honestly, I wouldn't imagine you would know what those are. Now that you do, I want to know why.
You want to know why? You want to know how?
Please.
Okay, because we had this conversation months ago in the car when we were driving to Puente Hills.
Oh, was it?
Did I tell him what
you were in the car.
I think you
yes,
were.
Was
yes.
that what?
Because we were talking specifically. I remember the conversation, and you brought it up, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know what those are," because we were talking about feet pics in the car. You brought up that conversation.
Yeah.
Receipts.
All right, maybe that was
so
okay. So maybe that was me.
Hold up. Someone give me the flip and another flip.
Uno reverse.
Uno
reverse. So basically, she reposted it, and then someone from her followers messaged her.
Anyway, she posted it on the.
She posted a tribute photo on her Instagram. And then one of her followers or one of her friends said, "Hey, did you look over that photo you reposted on your Instagram?" She goes, "No, why?" He goes, "Look at it closely." And you could see. I didn't see. I was kind of like going through this. You could see the discoloration and the ripples of certain spots and stuff like that. And she immediately deleted it. But the power of Reddit, someone reposted it on the Reddit thread, because I'm subscribed to the Reddit thread of just like Rhea Ripley stuff.
It was you, huh?
No. And so then I was like, wait. And then like someone commented saying like, "Oh yeah, she took this down." Like, what's? I looked at it. I'm like, what's? I was like,
never mind.
And I was like, it's like, oh, it's a beautiful portrait. And I'm just like, oh, someone thought it was too beautiful. Like,
oh, that's cringy right there. Can we move on to comic strips now?
Let's do it.
Comic strips portion of the show where we talk about topics that don't merit a 10 to 15 minute conversation, but I think this one will last 15 minutes because, Nick, are you ready? We're going to be talking about Helldivers.
Yay!
Helldivers 2. It won't stop being in the news. It won't stop being relevant.
We're going to stop the show. We're just going to talk about Helldivers.
Just all Helldivers.
Helldivers.
Is this going to be a game of the year?
No. And I think if it is, I don't think it.
You know what? I don't think it's going to be game of the year.
It's going to be
because I think I don't even think it's going to be a candidate because
Really?
Elden Ring is coming out with a DLC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's unfair. Anything going to be
Wait, you can be game of the year because of a DLC?
Oh yeah.
Depends on the length of the DLC.
And depends on how much the fanboys do tributes on it.
What-
That's true.
Well, no, because what was it usually FromSoft? Whenever they do a DLC, it's anywhere from like 60 to 100 hours.
Also,
Most likely it's going to be a very almost a second game.
Helldivers will get nominated, and so will Tekken 8 be nominated for Game of the Year.
I think that Helldivers will probably be best multiplayer game.
Yes, 100%.
I 100% think it would get
100%.
that.
Well, Helldivers is back in the news again because y'all lost the planet this last week.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for the planet. Mavalon. How do you pronounce it? Mavalon? Mavalon. You guys lost it to the automatons.
Yeah. No, but you know what it is? It's because of all of these it's all the people that are trying to boost. And that's ridiculous. So what they're doing is they're trying to either get they're trying to get samples.
Mm-hmm.
So the way the game works is that while you're on a mission, there are these like samples that you're supposed to pick up. So you have normal, rare, special, and then so you have these like different type of samples. Higher up, the higher the difficulty, the more rare the samples you get. Okay. You use those to then upgrade your ship and everything else. So when you upgrade your ship, things come down faster, they're stronger, yada yada yada.
There's more variety.
More variety. The only problem is that what people have been figuring out is that if I go into a game and then I don't complete the mission, but I can get all the samples I want, So I just keep on replaying that thing. So what it was doing is it was then bringing down our wins, and it was then increasing the automaton's wins.
So if you don't complete the mission, but
if you don't do
escape
your
with the
objective,
samples, so if you don't do the objective, but you leave the planet without,
can't leave the planet. You can run out of lives though.
oh,
So the only way to
so
like
people are purposely dying.
yeah, because you would still get XP.
So this is the problem I have with like games that are community centric sometimes.
Not only that, but also there are 2-part missions.
Uh-huh.
So if you do a 2-part mission, and then you only do one part of the 2-part mission because you can mine all the samples in that one, and then you finish the mission.
Yeah.
They were then jumping to another mission, doing that one, and then going back. But if you don't finish a 2-parter, then the automatons take that as a win.
So that's the thing I hate about these community driven games, because it brings out the worst. And granted, I think it should be the job of the developers to figure out a mechanic to reduce that kind of.
It also, but in all fairness, it is bringing out the better
It
of the
it's
community.
both sides. It's
Yes.
both sides, because so the bad side of it is apparently PC players are kicking people out that don't have drops or don't have loadouts that are meta.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are playing this game and don't have the right equipment, the PC players will just go like no and kick you out of their squad.
Mhm.
So it's making it increasingly more difficult for you to even find a game to play, even while those wait times are like extremely long.
You need to make friends. That's kind of what you need to do. Because
Basically,
I always play with a full squad, and it's all in like we have like 8 people that we always play with. So like it's one of those things of like, all right, cool, you guys already playing? All right, I'll wait for the next squad to get in.
it's the same thing as Rainbow Six Siege.
Or hot swapping people in and out,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the market or
Yeah.
something like that. Can you hot swap in and can you take over for me?
It's
and play.
It's the same idea with Rainbow Six. You can only do so much with strangers, because if you play with a squad of 5 people, you guys all know the way how you guys all play. You guys can communicate a lot better, lock down
Discord.
positions. Yeah, exactly. What?
We're because we're all in Discord as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always better. And then like we were playing with me and Andrew, we were playing on Wednesday, and it was just me and him online. We thought more people were going to be on Wednesday. Nobody. And then I'm like, I got to call Sean. Like, I need help. I'm going to call Sean. So I called up Sean and I'm like, Sean, you diving today? And he goes, in like an hour or why? And I'm like, hurry, Liberty needs you.
He did messages that you told him that. So that's the good side, that you have the community like actually understanding all that.
Yeah.
The other good side is apparently there was a small fraction on that planet that was still being kept alive, and a squad of 180,000 players right now are currently fighting to take that
Yes.
planet back.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's good to know.
It is great because you can see how many people are actually fighting, and also you get more XP if you are fighting on a planet that is actively being attacked.
Yeah.
So it does give you a bonus to say you should come to this planet because you get extra XP.
Mm-hmm.
But the fight is harder, and it is insane.
I just want to do my part already, man.
It's fun. You know what's messed up though? The way the game is built and the way that the drops of the enemies are is that you can be having a smooth run and just going, everything's working out. You know, drops haven't been that bad. We're about to like get off planet. Let's do this. And then as soon as you walk over to where the like right when you're about to get back to where like the ship is and to take off, you just get hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes where you're just like, where were these guys? Where were they?
They want to make it hard. They want to make it hard for you.
Like this always happens. It's great.
But you guys have a name now to blame. A guy named Joel has been confirmed by Arrowhead to be a developer titled The Game Master, who has been the person to drive basically the in-game events in all of Helldivers.
Good.
So he's being the little puppeteer here, which is great.
I
It's cool to
like
hear.
that we have a game master.
Yeah, it's making it interesting. Moving on to some DC news. James Gunn. Huh?
What? I said, something
Ah,
interesting.
I'm telling you,
All right,
man.
my part's in.
You
now.
know what? In all fairness, I do want to just buy you Helldivers and then have you jump in and then be like, and then you go like, oh, dude, Helldivers is so sick.
If he buys you Helldivers,
No,
would you play it?
there's a lot of factors for me to order to play. I have to resubscribe to my PlayStation Plus, and I have to get new headphones because I accidentally put mine in the washer.
How did you put them in the
Actually,
washer?
What's your budget on
Headphones?
Headphones.
At least $50.
You know what? Let's find them. The Sony ones. the ones that they came out, the first party ones,
Uh-huh.
because I think we can find them some good ones on OfferUp for like $50.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had the PlayStation 5 ones black for the.
How did those go in the
PS5.
washing machine?
So for reasons that I don't remember, I guess I was using my headphones and my hampers like right in front of my
They
chair.
fell in?
No, I just kind of went like this. I put them down and I went okay, and I just kind of like put them on the hamper, and then I was like, oh, I gotta wash clothes, and I'm gathering clothes and I'm putting it on top, and then I'm just usually when I'm putting stuff in my washer, I kind of go like this, but I'm like okay, I'm like kind of doing like a quick thing, and they're black, so all my shirts are black as well too.
So, you just blend
So
it in.
it just blended in. So I went okay, and I just went, and then like I went back after
And
an
then
hour.
kaboof!
No, after an hour, I was like, okay, I gotta take my stuff out because I have to. I don't dry my shirts; I hang dry them. So I'm taking them out one by one. I'm like, that's a shirt, no, that's a shirt, that's a pants. All right, that's a crusty sock that's washed. And then and then I go, and then I just hear, and I'm like, what? And I go in and I go, no way. And Mandy's on the phone. She goes, what? I'm like, I did the most dumbest thing that I could ever do, and I'm so pissed at myself. She goes, what? I washed my headphones. She goes, you mean your AirPods? I'm like, no, my PlayStation headphones.
Were you using your AirPods?
I was using my AirPods at the time.
What do you think I'm talking to you on,
Yeah.
babe?
Did you wash your AirPods? No!
Clearly I didn't.
Clearly.
No. And
Let's use our brain.
yeah.
Let's
No, and then
let's think about this.
but then so then I was just kind of like and I'm like reluctantly just grabbing the rest of my clothes, and I'm like and I turned on, and I'm like, no, but let me turn it on. The blue light went on. It went doo.
You know what's actually funny? They were probably fine.
You know, I don't know.
Oh, because it's a thing that we experimented with.
Uh-huh.
If what you would have done
Yeah.
is waited and then let them dry all the way, or like taking them apart and then kind of dried everything first, and then giving them maybe like 2 or 3 days.
They were in the washer for an
And-
hour. That's the thing.
So,
But if they weren't on, then they were
No.
fine.
Yeah, they were off the whole time.
That's what I'm saying, because there was no power going through, so it didn't short anything. The fact that they were wet, as soon as you turned them on, that's what shorted it.
So Linus Tech Tips did a video recently where he just dunked water on a PC and showed you how to like actually
Save it.
Yeah. And he's right. Yeah. If you turn it on, it short circuits anything that's in there.
Yeah,
so
because
the
power
moment,
being
yeah,
used, the
Yeah.
battery being
exactly.
used
It,
up. Yeah.
it was a first party Sony headset, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can find him something on OfferUp. I
We
know
can-
that they
So
sell.
there's So for me to order to play online, there's a lot of things I have
Yeah,
to
no,
get.
I understand that, but
he needs you to fight for freedom.
Yeah.
I'm still on Earth.
I need
I'm
more
waiting for the
people.
ODST drops.
We need more people to help us fight the automatons. We're getting a new enemy. All right, we're not winning already.
Do you understand that I
Somebody
don't have
else is
citizenship
coming.
yet to even fight in this war? I'm waiting for my citizenship to
Yeah,
happen. so
you
I can
still
do my
on
part.
Earth.
I'm waiting, dude. I'm training. But the moment it happens, right there.
We got to be
Front
super
lines, let's do it.
citizens.
I'm doing my part.
And then Brian's like, I didn't do shit.
Where's the pen?
I
got it.
No, but
Like,
I'm
5216.
no, but I'm telling you right now, man. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, we'll get it done.
Because Sony, because the fact that you can
yeah.
play, it's so much fun.
It's gonna be a step at a time because it's the headphones. I'm probably gonna re-up my PlayStation again.
You know what? I'll send you the next time I see it.
Mhm.
I'll get it. I'll send you the link
Yeah.
because Kotaku always has deals, and Best Buy usually sells. Best Buy or Target will do like 3 months to a year of of PlayStation for like $20.
It's just that next week I get paid, and I'm planning on doing a kind of a big purchase that has nothing to do with the gaming.
What are you buying?
Just for
It's for Mandy.
no, it's not. It's for me.
What
Clearly for me.
What are you buying?
With WrestleMania coming up. I
Oh,
wanna buy
you're buying a
title
belt. You're buying a belt.
Yes,
That's right.
you're actually gonna get a
That's
title.
what
Like,
I'm
a
saying.
title belt?
I'm gonna get the undisputed title belt.
Are
As
you
soon as-
serious?
As soon
Like
as you
a
said
big
that,
one, a
because
replica?
Yeah, the replica.
You were talking-
It's a
Oh.
cheap version, but it's under. It's like under 100.
It's the one that Junior had, right? The
No, well, no,
Junior's guy,
it's
or
the one. So I'll show it to you. I'll pull up my
Pull it
wish
up.
list.
Dude,
actually,
if you,
so.
oh my god, dude.
That's
Yeah.
what.
But we can't hold it until we beat him
For what?
for the belt.
I know, but I'm gonna bring it
I'll murder
to
him.
juniors when we go see. Like, I'm gonna bring it.
I'll slit his throat. I don't care.
It's like ding ding.
Yeah.
Throws a
I'm mugging you.
Yeah.
I'm not winning it. I'm
you
mugging
think
you.
this is gonna be a real wrestling match? This is a duel.
Somebody brought arms to a gunfight.
Yeah, but that's what I plan on buying. I want to buy a belt.
All right.
yeah.
So while
Okay.
you look that up, DC News, James Gunn announced his principal photography for his Superman movie has officially begun February 29th. It actually started, he said it wasn't intentional, on the day of Superman's birthday.
Cool.
There's
Cool.
also an official name for the movie.
I thought it was Superman Legacy.
It is now titled Superman.
Okay.
The official title for the Superman movie.
It's a Superman.
It's Superman.
Oh my gosh!
You know what? You know what? Honestly, here's my thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a dumb name. No. Because you know why? I feel like there's so many movies that are called Superman that's gonna blend in. I think that it maybe that it should
in the
have
mix.
but I do feel like instead you could have went with like the Man of Tomorrow
Yes, but it's kind of genius
or
because
the Man of Steel.
how do you differentiate that Superman with other Superman movies? You
by
call
calling it the same damn thing?
No, by calling it James Gunn's Superman. His name's always going to be on there. No one calls it Matt Reeves the Batman. They just call it the Batman. But if this movie's called Superman, you'd be like, oh, James Gunn's Superman.
You know what the funny thing is? What about if they would have just called it the Superman?
Then it would have just been the Superman. But it's called Superman, so you get to call it James Gunn Superman. Just like Top Gun
That's
Maverick
silly.
is not Top Gun Maverick.
It's Tom Cruise's Academy Award-winning Top Gun
There
Maverick.
you go. Put some respect on that goddamn name. Put some respect. You know, Andy got mad at me for that.
For what?
She's just like, why do you have to keep calling it Academy Award winning?
Because it won an Academy Award. That's
It
why.
is.
Respect it.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
Put some goddamn respect on that movie.
Mhm.
It won an award.
Did you win an Oscar? No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I just like to watch him. It's like,
I didn't win an
my
Oscar.
God.
I'm not Academy
Oh,
Award
yeah.
winning. That movie, Academy Award winning.
Oh my God, that's too funny. Speaking of Academy Award winners, because I finally showed Monica Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, you were talking about this yesterday.
We got through all 3 hours. Monica was not paying attention for the first 45 minutes and was vastly lost.
Yeah.
She goes,
So when does the bomb drop?
no, she was, because it was funny because like halfway through the movie she was like, wait, so he made the Germans bomb? And I was like, what? No.
What?
I was like,
I can
wait.
see you just say that. You're like,
Wait, what? No!
he's like, I'm just watching the movie, and you're just like,
No!
Like she
he
was
made America's bomb. Like,
no, and then it was like, oh, and she was like, wait, so like Robert Downey Jr. is mad at him for no. She said, so wait, the guy in the white, the guy in the black and white, she's helping Oppenheimer or is he hurting him? And then halfway through the movie, she goes, is that Robert Downey Jr.?
is that Tony Stark?
And then I was like, I feel like you're not paying attention to this movie at all. And then she goes, in all fairness, for the first 45 minutes, I wasn't.
So then that would
To be fair, if you didn't know the history at all of
It's
the movie,
really
It's hard.
it's hard.
Apparently
Especially
it is.
Especially
I did not know that.
Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're watching it, because the way that Nolan has it too, that's the thing. If you don't know history,
She's just assuming you
and-
know.
Yeah, it's the thing. And you're watching it. So if we didn't know that, basically, what's his actual name that Robert Downey Jr.'s character he
Strauss?
plays? Strauss. We didn't know that,
Rubbish.
because of history, and we pay attention in history class, and,
I paid attention to history because of Assassin's Creed.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Your
And-
wife didn't.
No, she did.
No, she did not. Don't
She
you
actually-
lie. Don't you freaking lie to me.
What? No, she didn't.
No,
she knew more
didn't.
about it.
No, she didn't.
No, because remember
No, she didn't.
Oh, yeah.
The day that we went to go
I was
see
gonna say,
Oppenheimer,
she said-
and
she
then
said
she turned
something.
around and she was like, "Wait, you mean the bomb that went off in World War One?" And I was like, "Wait,
Wait,
hold on.
she didn't. We didn't watch Oppenheimer. It was
No.
us two.
We were talking about Oppenheimer."
Yeah, we were talking about that's when everyone was here.
Oh,
and then
you're
and then she
right.
turned around and went, "Yeah, the World War One movie." And then I was like, "Wait, what?" And then Mandy then chimed in and went, "Yeah, it's the movie about World War One." And I'm like, "Wait,
Yeah.
hold on, stop, wait, hold on,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, this isn't, no."
Yeah.
I go, war with Germany, not that one though.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, by next weekend, Monica's got to put some respect on that movie though, because it's gonna be Academy Award winning Best Picture.
Okay.
Oppenheimer.
Best Picture.
In her defense though, when she finally started paying attention, she enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
When she-
that's understandable. Yeah.
But she did say that the movie is going 1,000 miles a minute.
Oh,
No, yeah. The
It's-
dialogue.
wait until we get to Dune, because you brought that up. All right, so anyways, moving on, more DC news stuff. Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3 has a couple pieces of news that's pretty important. It'll be releasing soon, but
Part 2 is releasing soon.
yes. So I can't pronounce this
Will
last name.
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, who is the original voice of Terry McGinnis, is returning to play Terry McGinnis,
Yes.
Batman from Batman Beyond, on Crisis on Infinite Earths. And we will get a final collaboration between Mark Hamill's Joker and Batman the Animated Series
The true retirement.
of Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Yes.
One final time in this movie. Sad, but, it makes it more exciting to see how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to, you were doing something like...
Oh no, I'm just my finger's
Scratching.
itchy.
I mean, I always like it. I'm really hoping that he has if Mark Hamill does something that's kind of like the his eulogy, his Batman eulogy from the animated series, that'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, so...
Or anything like that, because I do really like that eulogy, and I know when when Kevin Conroy did pass, that's the eulogy that he posted.
Yeah.
He posted that eulogy, and I'm really hoping that it goes smoothly and everything like that.
I don't doubt it won't go. It's going to be the last time that both characters will be
on screen
together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How was part 2 or part 1?
Part 1 is really good.
Part one's a lot of setup. It's
Yeah.
a lot of setup.
I've noticed though what they're doing is that each movie is going to focus on a certain character.
Mhm.
Part 1 was Flash. Looks like part 2 is going to be a little bit more about Supergirl, maybe Batman as well too. And then part 3 is what they do with part 3.
I think Supergirl is meeting other Batmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're gonna. I'm really hoping that they also get like some of the others
Mm-hmm.
too. Like I'm hoping that we get like a Keaton Batman.
Mm.
Oh,
everything
like
else.
the real life Batman.
Like I'm like that because that'd be fun.
yeah.
That'd be cool. Maybe we'll see by the third one because I know they have it planned out, all these cameos and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
I think that would be really fun to
Mhm.
just go like why not? Let's just have all these. Let's have all the Batmen
Mhm.
come in and do a little ditty.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I'm excited for it. The Pokemon Company had their Pokemon Direct February 26th, 25th. I can't remember the day exactly. Not much was announced. There's only a 12-minute direct segment, but they did announce a new Pokemon game. And the only reason that this is kind of relevant, the game itself didn't get enough hype when it was first announced because there was a lot of confusion. It's called Pokemon Legends ZA,
Mhm.
which is going to be a sequel to the Legends game that
Oh,
came
A
out.
through Z, isn't it?
It's a play on a character that was in X and Y.
Mm.
They're bringing that back, and it's going to be in Gen 6's city, Lumos City.
Mhm.
But the reason people are talking about it is because it kind of went under the radar.
Mhm.
When it was announced, it said simultaneously releasing 2025.
Hmm.
So people are asking why. What do you mean it's releasing simultaneously in
Mhm.
2025?
Yeah.
Well, one, it's getting another year of development. So people like last week, and you were saying that they need to put more focus on the development. They're actually doing that because they're not rushing it.
Mhm.
Apparently, this game's getting like 2 years, 3 years of development.
Yeah.
To get it right.
Mhm.
But now there's speculation that this game will be releasing on the original Switch, and Switch 2, or whatever it's going to be called, will be releasing next year. And more than likely, my prediction, it's going to be a launch title for the Switch 2.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be called the Switch 2 though. I think
No.
it's gonna be something else.
Do you think that they're going to be doing backwards compatibility for once?
No.
Do you think they're just going to be stubborn?
I think that if they were smart,
They should.
they would. But it's Nintendo, and
Which
Nintendo doesn't like backwards compatibility.
Which is dumb.
They would much rather you have to buy that game all over again,
Yeah.
and that is a shame. But I'm interested to see because Nintendo is known for its party games. Like that is kind of why you get a Nintendo.
1-2 Switch.
Like 1-2 Switch,
Wii
Super
Sports.
Mario Party, Wii Sports. Like for the past 10 years, 10, no, like 15. since the Wii came out, really. It's been like kind of like the party console. Like
It's
this
a
is
toy.
it's the toy that everybody comes over and we all play it, and it's more of like a community thing. It's not really like hardcore gaming. It's
Yeah.
not really online gaming. It's more of like we're gonna bring everybody to my house and we're all gonna play Switch.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah. So I'm imagining whatever their next rendition of the Switch is, it's gonna still have that component. I'm just interested to see how they're gonna do
What's
it.
the gimmick this time around?
That's the thing, though, is that I'm kind of interested to see what the gimmick is.
You
just
strap it into your arm, you inject it inside, and it becomes a part of you. It's now integrated.
What about if they come up with the first version of full dev, like full dive,
Like the Virtual Boy?
like just like boom, like you put it like we're going Sword Art Online, and just like they come out with like a helmet, and they're just like
this, like you're all Pokemon.
like they're like, oh, you know that AR. That AR BS that Apple came out with, we got true dive technology, and then you put it on.
They sell you a haptic suit as
It's
well.
a haptic suit. It's a helmet, and then you go in, and it's Tron,
That's what's in it. It's just Tron.
and it's just Tron.
Yeah.
and you go in, and then it's Sword Art Online.
This is
And
the
you're
true
just
Tron
stuck.
3.
And you're just
That's
stuck.
how they announced Tron 3, dude.
Yeah,
It actually is going to happen.
with
that. No. Yes, with haptic. Good.
with haptic.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
true
I want
Tron
the-
3.
I
We're
want
finally
the
getting
suit.
a true sequel to Legacy. It's real great. Oh my god, I'm so excited now that
Tron
you announced
3.
it.
You just
What?
you hyped this up on your own.
Yeah,
That's
because
not
I'm
even a real
excited. Dude,
thing.
do you know how much I want Tron 3 to
You
happen?
know how much is not gonna happen because you said it and you want it so badly?
And you know
I
what
just
a
think
man
it's
can
super
dream?
funny that it's a title that Disney has, and they were just like, we're never
They
gonna
put it
touch
to
this.
rest.
Yeah.
We're like it's like
Jared
last
Leto's still gonna be in it.
dude. It's like
What?
it's like
Tron 3.
It's not happening though.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be attached to it.
I think he's contracted for it.
That's a
If
good-
no
that's-
no matter because I think
that's
it's
a good
the
joke.
no, but I think it's the same thing as Mark Wahlberg, because you know that's why he was in the Uncharted movie, right?
Oh yeah,
He was contracted as Drake,
yeah.
and then when
They just moved him over.
and then when he aged out of the role, he was still contracted. So they
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing the Uncharted movie," and he was
Mhm.
like, "All right, sweet, like I'm still in." And they go, "Okay, cool," and then they gave him
So we're getting Tom Holland.
Yeah, we're gonna get Tom Holland. He was like,
Tom Holland's all.
He's like, what? Why? Yeah, he's like, he's a little young to be playing the old guy. And it's
Yeah.
like, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm the old guy now.
Oh.
But see, Disney's not in that position because Tron 3 is not happening yet.
I don't know. I just, in all fairness,
Don't look at me like that.
I don't understand why Jared Leto's still getting work.
Jared Leto comes in.
I don't get it.
In
I
all
really don't
seriousness-
get
in
it.
all
I really don't
seriousness,
get it.
Welcome to the
If-
grid.
In all seriousness, because I know he's a producer for this abomination that he's working on right now.
What? No.
Who?
Which one?
Trent Jared Leto.
He's
For-
on what abomination?
Yeah, what abomination?
Tron 3?
Now it's
Oh.
abomination.
Huh?
Now it's an abomination.
Now it's an abomination.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, so what if he method acts and he says in order to fully understand the
Sure.
character,
He shorts his brain out.
It's just like he starts putting wires in his brain.
I need to get into the system.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go in as a user.
What about if he turns into the giant face thing? Like the big like hexagon thing that's spinning in Tron? And he's just like, I am the mainframe.
He transcends.
Yeah.
Like in what's that movie called with Johnny Depp?
Transcendence?
Yeah. That was-
He transcends. Like that one Johnny Depp movie. What's it called?
Transcendence.
Transcendence. Yeah, that one.
It was, you know what? I was young and stupid. I liked that movie when it first came out. And
movie's
I look
so
back and I'm
bad.
just like, God
It's
dang, this
so
is a really
bad.
weird movie. I like the concept. It was interesting.
That movie's so bad.
It's
It
just
is.
weird. Now that I think about it.
That's
That
like,
was a contractually obligated
dude,
movie.
that's like somebody saying, oh yeah, Madam Web was an interesting
You know what? There
slasher
are some
film.
young and stupid people out there that believe it. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine.
I heard
You know,
somebody.
Andy actually upset me yesterday when we went to go get Krispy Kreme because she was just like, dude, Tron 3 is actually happening. Did you see what it's titled? And I'm just like, don't want to talk about
Tron
it.
3, Jared Leto.
It's Tron 3 Aries.
Tron 3, Leto.
Why Aries?
I don't know, but they
Why would, it
released
be,
a photo of it.
why would it be called Aries?
I don't know. I'm not him. I'm not dumb.
Is
All
it
right.
Air-
I'm
is
not
it
stupid.
Project
Here's the
Aries?
thing. And she also said, what if Daft Punk comes back? And I'm like,
Daft
how
Punk's not coming
dare
back
you
for this.
say that, dude?
Mhm.
How dare you offend
Why
me
you
that way?
don't want Daft Punk back?
I want Daft Punk back. I just don't want it in the abomination. I don't want that. I want them to come back respectfully. All right.
I just don't know where you go with Tron 3.
You don't, because it's not going to happen.
Like, I don't get it. Not only that, but also Olivia Wilde's a mess right now.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to
She's-
happen.
she's a
Tron 3
mess.
is not going to happen. Let's just put it that way. Moving on, okay? We're not talking about Tron 3 because it's not
What
happening.
happened to the dude that played his son? Like, that kid, that guy doesn't get work.
He did Pan, and that was it.
Yeah, like he did Pan, and then they were like, that guy's never going to get work again.
Two more pieces of news. EA lays off 5% of its workforce over the last couple of weeks. That's about 670 people. Keeping in mind that they did hire 13,400 workers at the end by the end of March of last year.
Welcome to the video game
Didn't
industry.
Naughty Dog lay off some people?
They did. There's like some.
Naughty Dog and Insomnia.
I feel like there is a big so it's really weird. So basically the way that video game companies work is that they contract you. So you are contracted for this game, and there's no guarantee that when the next game starts that you're going to be contracted for the next game. So in all fairness, when they say we laid off 1,500 people,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got laid off because they're picking up another 1,500 people.
Can you imagine the conversation is like, oh, here, you're signing to do Spider-Man. All right, cool. Yeah, do Spider-Man 2. All right, can I do Spider-Man 3? Huh?
What? We haven't even thought about that.
No.
Don't show me. No. Yeah. No. Spider-Man 3. No Spider-Man 3.
No, not Spider-Man 3.
You're right.
Nothing's been confirmed.
But that's the thing though, is that like everybody always goes like, oh yeah, EA laid off 13,000 people,
I
and it's
just
like
think
they
that
challenge
of-
everything.
of a company that has like 100,000 people working,
So,
and then like you have like 20,000 people working on a specific game.
Yeah.
It's just a fart to the.
Yeah, honestly, it's not like that's nothing. It's
It isn't,
honestly nothing.
but they're included in that group of people that got laid off are people that weren't contracted, people that actually like were, hired in for the job.
In all fairness, you played an EA game lately?
No,
They
and
needed
that's
to
the
get
thing
fired.
is that their
Should
sunsetting.
have been fired.
They should.
No one's buying the games anymore, guys. So we need to line the load.
I was
here.
gonna say Call of Duty, but I'm like, wait, no, that's Activision.
That's Activision.
So yeah. So anyways, they're sunsetting a couple games. One of those
No
games
one wants to play
includes
esports.
the Mandalorian game that was unofficially
I
announced.
told you. I told you it wasn't
It
going
wasn't
to
gonna
make
happen,
it.
so it didn't
I told
happen.
you it wasn't
But
gonna
they
make
did
it.
confirm that they're working on Jedi 3.
Weapon of Jedi 1 and 2.
No, which
Oh,
Last
Fallen-
Survivor, like Fallen Order.
Okay.
Yeah, the Star Wars game.
The Boba. Okay, in all fairness, the Mandalorian one, I think 3 episodes ago, I was like, well, that's never gonna happen.
No, because it wasn't officially announced. It was
Yeah.
rumored. Someone just leaked it.
Like 3 episodes ago, I was like, that's not gonna happen.
Did you
Somebody
hear how-
goes, it's not.
Rockstar called back its employees to get back to work in their offices for GTA 6.
No.
Yeah, they like sent out a mass email to all their workers and
Former
said,
workers.
like, no, developers going like, hey, you guys all need to come back into the offices to work on GTA 6.
Is there a problem?
They don't want it leaked. It's gonna get leaked.
it's gonna get leaked.
So I don't know what the big deal is. I mean,
Oh, there's a big deal because it's GTA 6.
In
Yeah.
all fairness, I think if that's the case, alpha it.
Yeah.
Just alpha the game.
Yeah.
If you or beta test the game and open it up to the
Oh
the
my
public.
is
I-
it supposed to come out next year?
But I mean,
mean-
if that's the case, then just open it up so that way people
I
get to see it. They
remember-
get hyped.
I remember playing the alpha for Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
That was actually really fun.
Oh, that's right.
But that's what I
really
mean,
fun.
though, is that like you kill any momentum of leak because you're controlling the leak.
Well,
You're-
they also have the online proportion to GTA 6. That's going to be a huge thing. They're not going to keep GTA Online right now. They're probably going to move on to the next version.
What
of
would
online.
be really sick is if you can move that your character, take it over to GTA 6.
Isn't the economy screwed up? Or
You,
did they fix it?
the economy is screwed up and everybody has like just an overabundant amount of
Printed too
wealth.
much cash.
They did. That's honestly that's what it is. But I think that if you were to do it where you come over and then you just make it that when you came over, you're back to 0,
Yeah.
but you get to keep whatever skins or anything like that you want.
Oh,
Like,
so the smarter thing than just to invest so much money like on a Call of Duty game and then not bring it over to Warzone.
yeah, and then and everything else, or have like I think it'd be really awesome if they made a thing where it was like you have a suitcase and you can only fit so many things in it, and then they go put whatever you want to take from this game, and then it ports. and then you take that with you.
I'm okay with that. I don't know.
That'd be
why it's not
sick.
An option. Last piece of news: head writer John Semper Jr., who was the head writer of Spider-Man animated when it first came out in 97, 98, wants to continue his show just like X-Men 97. His quote: "All they have to do is call." That's it.
I mean, in all fairness, I think we're not gonna see stuff like this until X-Men 97 comes out.
Until we get some hype.
Once we get hype, or if it blows up and everybody loves it, great. Then we'll pull more stuff from it. And then we'll bring back like Blade, or we'll bring back Daredevil, we'll bring back the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man show. All those other things.
It's these rumors that I don't like, because I also heard a rumor that Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi are collaborating to do a Spider-Man 4. Like, there's a belief that there might be a Spider-Man 4. I'm like, just lay to rest. Just let
you know what? You know what would be fun? I think if you were to do it, but you had Sam Raimi film some scenes for what was it, Beyond the Spider-Verse? And then kind of go like, oh yeah, in the world of Beyond the Spider-Verse, that movie did happen. And then you let Sam Raimi kind of like, play with some stuff, and like, put Toby back in the suit, and like you get to see him and everything like that. And it's like, oh, that's a sick shot, or that's a cool scene,
Some of
whatever.
the rumors are legit though. They have the rumor of Nicolas Cage playing a live version of Spider-Man Noir.
I'm in for that. That's cool.
Totally good for that.
I mean, they also said that Tom Holland and/or Andrew Garfield was going to be a Madam Web. So I mean, let's see how that works.
Well, not
So
possible.
they double down.
Yeah, man.
That brings us to the end of comic strips. Let's go ahead and talk Dune. Dune. Good movie? Bad movie?
Dune.
The more I sit on it, this movie, it's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a solid movie.
It's a great movie.
This is definitely like a 6-hour movie. I feel.
God, yeah.
No, because honestly, if I were to go, okay, man, I'm gonna just show you Dune 2. Makes no sense.
No.
This is not a standalone movie. This isn't like you need 1 to get to 2.
So
Like there's no. So this is a 6-hour
there's no
adventure.
compromise.
There's no compromise. You have to watch both of them and then kind of go, this is connected to this one.
Yeah.
Go.
I think you mentioned this when we were talking about it, Nick, was when you watch 1 and 2 back to back now, you watch 1
Mhm.
and it's just like, okay, it's a setup, but it's also dragging
Yes.
this story
Well,
because they don't want to give too much away. But then when we get to the second one, it's like, well, we got to fit in this whole other thing in the next 2 hours and 45 minutes, where basically, I think you did say this, where basically, okay, we're telling this, it's been an hour now, it's like, oh crap, we still got to do this.
And then, oh wait, now we have to do this.
Yeah.
So we have to do all of this desert stuff.
Yeah.
We
2
have to then-
hours of them just setting up, Paul.
Paul is a desert messiah.
Yeah.
Paul doesn't even get a setup until part 2, or no, towards the end of part 1.
That's the thing.
But that's what I mean, though,
Yeah.
is that like
It's hinted that he's meant for more.
It's hinted that
Yeah.
Paul is meant for more, and it's hinted that in the first one, like when he goes to go see the Bene Gesserit, and like she like does like the little hand thing, and then she was like, "You should have taught him," la 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 la, everything else, and then you can kind of see that he's starting to develop the voice and all that. It's like, oh, that's kind of sick. But it's not. It's Leto is more of like the main character in that one, and then kind of he just kind of goes out. I think they do Oscar Isaac kind of dirty in that movie.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Well, they only have him for the first half. He ends up dying, and then the rest of the movie is more along the lines of, "Oh, remember him?"
I know, but that's what I mean by like they kind of do Oscar Isaac a little dirty. I mean, I know that yes, he gets like that is partially what happens in the book and everything like that, but he's such a good actor.
So, in terms of the movie, of like kind of what you were talking about, like there was just a lot of exposition. Part 1, the way I see it, is the world building setup, and I think any good science fiction movie needs to have that world building element to it. Otherwise, there's no interest in it. So part 1 is all about the planet, the spice, and the different tribes and families that exist in this universe.
Mostly about the worms.
I think though, when you lose the general audience, it is when it comes down to is who owns the spice planet.
Exactly.
At that point, and then you start he started talking about the house of was it House of Atkins?
Which one?
The Paul's
No,
Atreus.
Atreus.
Oh, House of Atreus, and then was it who's the
rival house is House of
Harkins?
Harkins.
Yes. Then
Harkonnen.
that's when you start losing people. Is that it's like, okay, wait, hold on. Because in the first movie, it's the House of Atreus comes in to take over. The House of Harkins is leaving, but then they basically plan an ambush to take out House of Atkins, and House of Atreus. Sorry, I'm getting so confused. House of Atreus, they're taking out House of Atreus, but then it's come to find out in the plot that the Emperor is the one that set this all up, is at top of that as well too.
The Emperor basically made a deal that couldn't be refused, and then gave them this planet.
Yeah.
Then
that mentioned in the first one? I don't remember that.
It was not
That
the
the Emperor
intentions.
set it up.
that what? That what?
The first one,
the
it was
Emperor
alluded.
set it
Yes.
up for
So
House of
so the
Harkness,
the reason it was set up is because when the Baron of the when the Baron goes to go talk to them, he's talking to them, and they said the Emperor needs to see them fall, but nobody can know that the Emperor was involved. And then he goes, "How many men do you think you'll need?" And he goes, "I need like 5,000 men."
And we never see the Emperor in the first one.
No.
No, you never see him. It's just it's like Bene Gesserits, and it's like it's just
the puppet masters behind the scenes.
it's more or less just puppet mastering.
Was it the Reverend Mother?
Yeah, the Reverend Mother and all that stuff. But the other thing that is the problem I have though is that I never got a complete understanding of the houses. Like I don't
Because
understand.
the houses don't matter until part 3.
But the
But
problem,
that's the thing, is that you start losing, like,
I don't understand
like
what's
right
going
now,
on.
right now, describing it is still, I'm still getting confused of like houses and stuff.
Okay, here's my thing though. I feel like it's Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So I
With-
didn't want to say that.
No,
But
hold on.
it is. But they don't explain the houses.
But I feel like it's
when
Game of Thrones.
start, you automatically, they show you all the different houses in like this little display,
And then
House of Stark, House of Lannisters,
where
and
they
stuff like
rule, what they do,
Yeah.
how much that what like
That's
what
in
is
the opening
what's their
of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, what's their resource?
Mhm.
Why are they important?
Mhm.
And why exactly their lordships?
Mhm.
The only problem is that I don't understand where it's like, okay, he's a baron, you're a duke.
Yeah.
I feel like you should, as a baron,
Mhm.
you kind of don't supersede a duke.
That's the thing. You
Like
don't-
I feel like we're just throwing titles.
yeah,
and I think that's just like that's a problem with the
you've had that one
writing.
before, right?
No, I just saw a big old no sign on there.
No,
I'm
don't
like,
open it. It's like,
It says no preservatives, no synthetic
Oh,
color, no
okay.
artificial flavor, and I'm like, don't make it red. Then that's a little concerning.
No.
Just like, no, you just do the American thing and just ignore it.
Just ignore it.
So,
No, so
but I
yeah.
and I feel because my thinking is that when you're watching Game of Thrones, or even when you're watching Star Wars,
Mhm.
or anything else, or even John Carter, or any of these other like movies that have derived from Dune,
Mhm.
is that I know who the bad people are,
Right? Yeah.
and I
you
know.
don't know here.
And I not necessarily not that I don't know, it's that I don't know what positions they're in. Like who ranks where
Oh, I see. what you
inside
mean,
of the like in this diagram, it
Mhm.
just kind of feels like you're throwing titles,
Mhm.
and then people are just stepping up to be in charge, and then you're like, okay, so where does he go to him? Where's he to him? And because like the Baron had a daughter, and then the daughter just went missing, and then he started appointing his nephews to be in charge of his lands, but it's like, how did you lose your own kid? And then you have like all these other houses, but then the other houses would be upset against the emperor because he murdered your family. But when you take charge and you become the ruler of the empire and you say, hey, he murdered my family, they all go, no, like we're not going to take that. So it's really hard for me to kind of go like, okay, so I don't know what everybody's motivations are, because at least in Game of Thrones or in Star Wars or anything like that, they make a motivation for the good guys and for the bad guys. In this one, I feel like it's just a lot of gray.
It is, and I will play devil's advocate here. So I didn't want to compare it to Game of Thrones because I felt like if I was as someone who hasn't seen Game of Thrones, if I said, "Oh, it's very Game of Thronesy," I know that it would have gotten people to be like, "How dare you compare that to Game of Thrones? It's completely
very
different."
Much like
No,
It very much
It's a
is
fair
because
comparison.
of the families and different, like the struggle for power and everything.
100%. We can say that Game of Thrones pulled some stuff from Dune.
Right? Oh,
Mhm.
100%.
okay, so we can say
100%.
that safely.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
no,
Just-
because Dune
I
came
just wanted-
first.
Dune came
And
first.
George R. R. Martin is not an original guy.
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure
He-
because Game of Thrones fans tend
No,
to
but
be a little violent.
but George R. R. Martin even said too. He goes, "I pulled from Lord of the Rings. I pulled from Dune. I
Yeah.
pulled from Star Wars. He goes, I just pulled stories
He
from
pulled-
all the
he-
major things."
in one of his books, or I don't know if he published it, but in the show Game of Thrones, they do the exact same thing that happens in Two Towers
yeah.
yeah,
with Gandalf.
yeah.
So
They do the exact same
to
thing.
And
play
literally, he goes, "Yeah, I stole that."
to play devil's advocate in here, Game of Thrones is a series that has the ability to continue a storyline for hours and hours and hours
Mhm.
because it's a show. With a movie, you're limited to a time frame.
Mhm.
In this case, 3 hours, right? I feel like if you were to write a movie where you introduce the families, the hierarchy, and
Mhm.
all of that stuff,
Mhm.
that's going to overshadow everything else in this world. You
Right.
won't have the time or the ability to talk about the planet. You won't have the time or ability to even focus on the
Mhm.
families that matter in this group of 7 or 8 different houses that
Mhm.
exist. You won't be able to tell the Arrakis story
Mhm.
that we're following with Paul, or the people that live on that planet and why spice is so important.
You could actually, if you cut out all the Zendaya freaking dreams
If
in
you
the
cut out-
one, and then him sleeping in the second one.
Yes. So
Hey man,
there's
he
a
needs
lot-
his naps.
there is
He needs
a
the
lot
nap.
of there is a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that you can cut out in the second one. I do agree, but I have a counter argument to that. Point being is that there's a lot to tell in this world, and I feel like it tried to do it in the best way possible by allowing these movies to exist as separate entities.
Mhm.
The first one is world building. The second one is all about Paul Atreides and the Messiah.
Mhm.
And the third one is going to involve the different houses.
Well,
And
that's
that-
going into the second book, isn't it? Because
I-
it's Dune Messiah
Yes.
is the next one.
So I think what's kind of
Beginning of the
going
second
on
book.
here is that it's allowing it to kind of simmer. You're not going to get everything all at once. You're letting this meal simmer in its own juices until you get the final product, with it being like Dune 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it may be.
Well, I mean that's kind of like the I mean and back to the Game of Thrones, similarities.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the was it the War of the Five Kings,
Mhm.
where everybody is now going like, I don't agree with your right to the throne, I don't agree with his right to the throne, I don't agree with your right to the throne, for whatever reasons,
Mhm.
and everything else. And now, how many books is it?
6.
There's 6 books.
Okay, so the first one was just Dune, and then the second book is Dune Messiah.
Mhm.
Then it's God Emperor of Dune.
Chapter House.
Then it's
Dune.
just Chapter House Dune.
Heretics and Children of Dune. But I feel like he's only going to go so far with the series.
Mhm.
You know what? But also, I feel like from the other books, because that always happens, you can probably pull stuff up.
Yeah.
And then kind of like, because we're going to allude to this stuff later, we're probably going to like do this. That's besides the point.
I feel like with the story, as far as what it's trying to do, it's fine. And I'm okay as a casual, like as a viewer who has never read the books, who's barely getting into it for this, like into the world of Dune based on these movies. I have the interest to continue the story because I'm getting everything in fragments, and I'm going like, okay, I can understand what is so important about spice. I can understand the importance of these two houses so far. Now with the ending of the second one and the houses going to war against what happened on that planet, now I'm interested in learning about the other houses and the other families, like what's so important about them and who are they? What kind of relevancy do they hold in this entire story? It keeps that interest alive.
It is really interesting if you go back and you watch the 1987 one. It's super interesting.
Because it's faster, right?
It's so much faster. They skip so much.
So I love the joke you made last night after we finished the movie, where it's just like Oppenheimer's so fast paced, like Christopher Nolan's just like, let's go, tell the story. Meanwhile, Dune Part 1 and Part 2 is just like, all right, guys, so we got a 6-hour cut of Dune Part 1, and the others are like, no, we have to cut half of that. Okay, well, we still got Dune 2, and that's 8 hours. No.
What are you, high?
What do you mean?
You want spice? What are you talking about?
Dennis, we can give you 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's can't do it. 3 hours, 2:45.
Listen,
That's it. That's all you get.
you're not Nolan. Nolan gets 3 hours.
Yeah.
Those 15 minutes you have to earn. I thought it was so funny because I was watching a video with Seth Rogen because Seth Rogen was going over he was doing Corridor Media. He was sitting down and watching he was watching like special effects. And then he goes, yeah, miniatures are like super expensive. Like most of the time you don't get to do miniatures. He goes, the only people that get to use miniatures are like Christopher Nolan or like Quentin Tarantino or anything else. And he goes, and if you try to use that, they go like, yeah, because he goes, well, you know, Christopher Nolan did it. And he goes, yeah, that's Nolan. Nolan gets to do that.
Has that right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
You earned it.
Like, it's like, oh, it's super expensive. Yeah, but Nolan did it. Yeah, but it's Christopher Nolan. Of course he got to do it. You don't get to do it. You're Seth Rogen.
So can we extend the projector area a little bit more? Because this movie's not going to fit in there. Are you Christopher Nolan? You don't get to extend that.
You get out.
Sorry.
It's a hard no.
You know what Nolan did to make it so that we can extend the theater so that his giant IMAX reel can fit in here? That's Christopher Nolan. He earned it.
I'll
What'd
do
you
it for him. In all fairness, box office numbers don't lie. They don't lie.
They don't. And
It-
it
it-
did
no-
for
no-
100 million.
Yeah, he did.
He did that movie for 100. Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
box office doesn't lie. So I mean, it's really good. I get it. I get it.
Do you know
he
how
deserves
much
it.
IMAX reels cost?
He deserves
Let's go.
it.
Speed up the process. No one's going to delay. I don't
But-
want long pauses. Everyone talks rapid pace.
Okay, so for this movie though, I fell asleep in the first 15 minutes. Now,
No one blames you.
my thing is that the reason why I fell asleep, one, I had a long day at work. Two, this movie starts really slow.
It's nothing.
There's
There's
a-
fast paced until the third act.
Yeah, and I felt like, I was joking about this when we got out, because when we got out of the movie, it was like, oh yeah, we had all these desert journeys with Paul, and like he learned how to ride a worm, and he did all these other things, and then out of nowhere somebody was like, oh dude, we promised a war in this movie.
Yeah.
20 minutes. We got 20.
We got 20 minutes left.
Could you imagine him like storyboarding this whole thing, and he's like all the way up to like the third hour of the movie, and someone goes like, so when does the war happen?
Yeah, but the worm though.
No, because
I want 3 writers all on that worm.
no, but that was,
So
and that
remember
was
how Dune Part 1 had one worm? It's Part 2, but we give you 3.
And that was the weird thing too, is that like the thing that they kept showing in the trailers about this war
was the 3 worms.
was with the 3 worms and everything. I was like, man, this could be a dope finale.
Well,
for the last like 10 minutes.
I was a little upset because in the first one they showed Paul fighting in the war, right? And he's like in his Power Ranger suit and stuff like that. I love that. I was like, this is cool. I want to see that in the second one. Nothing. It didn't happen. He's like just in his black cloak, all emo like, and just like walking across the field.
Which I thought was funny when because he had the brown coat.
Yeah.
Then afterwards he then adds a black coat
Yeah.
over the brown
Oh,
coat.
was this in Part 2, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was
That
part
was a
2.
beautiful scene, though.
Don't get me wrong.
No, it was cool.
This movie
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
Dude,
Yeah.
This movie
The choreography is great.
The choreography
too.
is
I love
great.
The choreography.
The
It wasn't
movie
like
is
Dark Knight
beautiful.
Rises.
So that scene in particular that
Yeah.
you're talking about, when it's like the desert waves when it's
Yeah.
like super hot and him in the background,
Mhm.
I was just like, that's a pretty cool shot.
Yeah.
And then the worm comes out of the ground. I'm just like, oh god, dude.
And that's
the worm. That was my idea.
no, that's what I mean though. This movie, it's super beautiful.
Yeah.
I imagine next year it's probably gonna win for cinematography, at
In-
least.
Academy Award winning Dune Part 2.
It's gonna. I mean, cinematography for this movie and special effects were amazing. Like it was a beautiful, beautiful movie. Now, would I recommend this movie to someone?
God no.
No,
No, this is
never.
for like moviegoers like us.
This
Yeah,
is
like,
no,
no,
add
no.
for science.
What was the
fiction.
first thing we asked Sean when he was like, "Oh, me and Chrissy are gonna go see Dune 2," and we were like, "When did you watch Dune 1?"
He's not a normal moviegoer like us.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah,
that
we're a different category. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know why you guys went no. I'm like us. No.
he didn't know what was going on. He was lost.
I was lost at the beginning
was
until like the
super
first. I
lost.
was like, okay, now I'm gonna connect the dots here.
Okay,
and
so
there.
not us. hardcore moviegoers that are not us. I'm
No.
sorry.
So I get no. So let me retract that. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna retract it. Yes.
No, I
But
stick to
if
my
I were to-
statement. I stick to my-
But I will say, to add on to that,
Yeah.
it's for the movie guy. Stick with my gun.
Yeah.
No. It's for the moviegoer that's like into that whole like connecting the dots.
Okay, so
Of everything.
in the movie theater, I was sitting next to the old guy. If you notice, I was sitting next to an old guy, and the whole time.
Are you talking about me?
No,
Oh,
because that guy was awake. And so then we're watching it, and so then the whole time he's like, I can see him on my peripherals. He's like this. He's watching when certain things were happening. He's all. He's like, yeah, and then like when Paul chose the princess over Zendaya's character, he's all. So I'm like this, and I'm guessing it's following the structures of the book so well that he's like, he's all, and then like certain moments he's like, yes. When Paul drinks the water, he's like, yeah. He's getting hyped, man. I was like, damn. I was all, at some point I want to turn him like, I'm happy that you're happy. I was like,
I'm happy
Don't
that
get me
you're
wrong. This
enjoying
movie's
this movie.
great.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm also enjoying your reaction, man. I'm so happy you're having a good time.
It was
watching this.
it was super funny because there were times when I would bust out laughing
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you laughing? In some parts, it was
Because there was
funny.
because there was just certain things in the movie where I was like, how? Like, I don't get it. Because halfway, in the middle of the movie, not even in the middle.
The sandworm.
Yeah,
part.
like this, because I laughed at the sandworm
Which
part.
part?
The sandworm part where like, because I saw the scene where like Paul jumps on the sandworm, he falls, and he accidentally falls onto the sandworm,
Yeah.
and then he's like trying to string himself up and everything
Oh,
like
and
that.
then when the other
And then-
the
and then
other
later-
villagers or something like that.
Yeah, then they were like, okay, we're gonna move a bunch of people on the sandworm.
Oh no, not just a bunch of people. We're gonna put a basket.
Yeah, we're gonna put a basket with a pregnant
Strap
lady
that-
on
and
it.
Strap that on
And
there.
strap that thing on a sandworm with like 30 other people. And then like it was funny because you would just like it wouldn't even show how they got on it. They just went boom. Don't worry! We're gonna make it to the south! And then you're like, how did they get the basket on there?
Yeah.
It just happens.
Like what'd they do? Were they all running with a basket? Like
Yeah.
and they all jumped up at the same time.
Why did you make that
Because he made that noise while making a basket, taking a basket, and I'm like,
All right, so we're gonna. All right, so let's stop right here. Rene, so
I didn't understand how they all got the basket on there.
well, definitely not like that. All right?
You know what
I would have been more comfortable with you going
You-
like, what if they just like one person was on the side of the Dune Mountain,
you know what I like.
tosses the basket, like, all right, I got it. That's
You know what
it.
you know what I
Like
love to
fishes.
think?
But here
I-
you are going.
I know what in my head canon. I like to think they strapped a rope to the basket,
In your, no,
And then-
no. That's not your head canon, Nick.
and then when they strapped a rope to the basket, they then tied it to the worm, and then when the worm took off, it just took the basket. And then they were there all just, and she's just bouncing on all the sand.
yeah, that's another thing too. Is like, how do you like prepare to get on it? Like, okay, because at some point, I mean, you have to be realistic. The way that they show getting on this worm, it's not an easy task.
No, it is not.
But
No,
these
it's
guys
not.
are on drugs.
No, yes, but I'm thinking in my head, like, are they like basically like jumping on and they have to like circle back around? Like, okay, you jump. All right, we'll come for your family.
Dude, that would take like 20 minutes.
right? That's like a
At least.
Yeah.
No, it's a big worm. That would take like 3 hours.
Yeah,
So
that'll take
here's-
like 8 hours.
I
Yeah,
look
just-
at
everyone.
the issue
like-
for you guys. My issue is this: in the first movie, the worms were a threat. Like
Yeah.
you had to learn how to walk. You had to learn about where they live.
But they hinted that you could ride one.
yes,
Yes,
they hinted
at the
it.
very end,
And then
yeah.
in this one, they're just like, guys, we went from level 1 to level 50. Every person's riding a worm.
Yeah, that
Everyone.
and then Paul was just like not easily, but he was able to do it first
Paul
try.
walked the desert, and these people also
well,
walked the
apparently not
desert.
the right way.
Exactly,
When, you
yeah.
know, when Johnny was like, oh, you have to
You
keep
have
it
to-
out of rhythm.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he tried to mansplain. How dare he?
Oh, God forbid.
He was trying to desert splain.
To
She
a
was
desert
like,
person.
yeah, she was like, oh, that's not how you desert walk. And he's like, really? Because the way I learned desert walking on my films. And then she looked at him and goes like,
Or basically, it
girl.
was like the equivalent of like, well, when I watched the YouTube videos,
well, the YouTube video told me. And then like,
Listen,
you're just like,
this
what?
TikTok showed me how to do it. All right.
on TikTok, Desert Rock, they did it a different way.
Just like, what?
She's like,
I do this every day.
Yeah. Are you questioning how? Yeah.
My other thing is that I was really hoping that I kind of wish that they would have saved Jason Momoa for this one.
Oh, for the arena battle?
Yeah, I wish they would have killed somebody else off. I know Duncan does die early and stuff like that, but
it's a movie. It's your interpretation. That's the thing. You have free range to make a couple of changes.
Yeah, and because my only thing is that in this one, when you get Baron, and he first gets introduced, my only thing was that I didn't like. I know that they were showing off that he's a threat.
Yeah,
and everything else.
He was a horny threat.
He was a horny threat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was gonna say I forgot that was him,
dude. Yeah. I didn't, because that's why I started laughing too. Because when he was there and he had those big luscious lips, and he was like, he was quivering, and I'm like, oh, say, hey, pretty, hey, mama, hey, pretty lady.
So this is the Dune planet, eh?
I thought when he walked in, he was gonna go.
As he's fighting Paul, as he's fighting Paul, looks at Zendaya.
What, he fights like? Do you think he fights like Johnny Bravo?
Yeah. Like, so what would be his line when he sees Zendaya and goes like, "So
this is your mama. How should I treat your mama?
This is your special lady." But my thing is that you were trying.
It's like, just fight him already.
Nah, man.
What's all this talk? You're my champion.
I've got
to fight.
I still have a watch in my ass.
Somebody deliver this watch to this little boy
back on Earth.
Is Earth still around in this?
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's way gone. Okay. But that's also why the Atreus family are so well have such high authority is because they can trace their lineage back to Greece. That's why they're Atreus.
How do you know this?
I watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, that was not in the movie.
That was not the movie, no. But anyway,
that was my own head canon.
Yeah, it's my own head canon. No, but I did research. Because I felt like you kind of need research for this movie.
For this movie,
I feel
you do.
You know what? And it's really, and that's kind of a shame because that's like the hardest part of going like, listen, before we watch this movie, let's watch like 4 YouTube videos.
It's just that's the thing. It further shows that Dune is not meant to be a cinematic movie because of its heavy.
This would have been a dope show.
It would have been. It would have been better as a show.
I would have had the budget.
No, well, HBO. If HBO got their hands on it, they're
they
like,
could do
what?
They could do decent.
We could take away Game of Thrones. We'll focus on Dune.
Yeah, if they did Game of Thrones really well,
Game of Thrones.
They could though.
They
can.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not as good as Game. It's not as good as Game of Thrones like heyday. Like the height of Game of Thrones is not.
They could have treated it like Game of Thrones and give it
absolutely
its dues and stuff like that.
Because especially with like the way that they're known.
Because would have been a great first season. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
because a good first season.
My big thing with this one is that I feel a lot of the times with the dialogue is very stale. It's not. It does push the story forward.
That, and I kept hearing every time Paul did something, the score was like, hey, and I'm like, I was just like he did something and just like the background, he gets on a word,
he woke up next to Zendaya.
He drank the life water and died.
He goes up to the Freeman. He's like, I am the captain now.
Oh my God.
At one point in that speech, I did notice that the audio, his talking was competing with the music in the background.
He's like, oh, I am a Freeman. And you have this thing blasting in your ears, and you're going like, wait, hold on. Can somebody put on subtitles?
And so
somebody turn on the subtitles because I can't read. I can't hear what he's saying.
And then like he's going up to like a certain Freeman and talking about his grandmother's death and stuff. Like, oh yeah, she died on the Dune. We're like, you said the title.
I thought it was so funny because
So I totally wanted to do the I wanted to do that. But he's like, said it. But it was like so fast. I thought it was like gonna be like a pause.
No,
that would have been a perfect. Like, it was called Dune. That would have been it. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That would have given me enough time to go.
I do think whoever was doing the music and the editing. I don't know why they had a hard on for that sound,
Right?
but like
sounds good.
But somebody, either that or somebody, like every single time something cool happened, they were like, "What music should we play for this?" And they were just like, "Just get that scream, just get the yodel,
harmonizing, screaming,
get the yodel,
Yeah.
and then just keep on playing it, and over and over. People are gonna love the yodel. Like, people are gonna love this." And it was a lot.
Like the director and like the editor was like, "All right, I got my sandworms, right? I got my yodel."
I just thought, mind you, we liked this movie.
No, it's a fun movie. But mind you, we're a comedy podcast. This is why you guys are listening to us.
No, and I have to say, I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
We all enjoyed
I
it.
think we
was
all
fun.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I could just find the humor in just some of the choices where I'm just going like, is that right? Like, I thought it was so funny where like every single time that somebody got caught because the Bene Gesserit told them to do something, at no point did like when they were going like, oh, because the Emperor made me do it, and then he didn't go like, look what you got me into. You told me to do this. I don't know why.
I did what you said.
Yeah, like
How did this backfire?
Like no one pointed ever at the like they were. It was always, and it was never like, oh, the Bene Gesserit was working through somebody else that then talked to the Emperor. It was always them talking directly to the Emperor or them talking directly to Paul, and nobody ever just turns to these people and goes,
Why am I listening to you?
you know who the real problem is? Them.
These religious,
the religious folk.
Yeah.
We should kill them.
First of all, no one's questioning why we got to stick our hand in a box.
right?
Like I
With
thought.
the needle, like
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're just not.
That was a red flag. I'm not gonna lie, red flag. It's definitely on my ick list.
I think
but then after they're done, they're like, oh, we found out everything we need to know from torturing them. Like,
I think my favorite part of that whole movie, I mean, like my favorite comedic part of this whole movie,
Yes.
is when Paul goes up to the Emperor and goes just like, I will. You're lucky if I even let you have your head. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take your throne, and I'm gonna take your daughter's hand in marriage too. And then the camera quickly turns to Zendaya's character, and I'm just like,
I just thought it was funny.
so this dude landed 2 chicks.
This dude basically was saying, he's like, I'm gonna do what I need to do for royalty, but I'm still gonna get my side piece as well too.
She's my main,
That's
but
my
I'm
main.
doing this to keep the bloodline alive.
I don't know why when he said that and then it shot to Zendaya's reaction. I thought it was going to be like Love is Blind or any of these other romance shows and then just go to a confession corner of Zendaya going like, I was so hurt when Paul did this.
When Paul said he wanted that shiny princess,
I was like, oh my God.
He said he would do anything for me, and yet here he is saying he would take another
I don't know.
bitch's hand in marriage.
And then like he would go to like her confession corner and then going like, oh my God, I'm trying to save my dad.
I don't love him.
I'll do whatever I can to save my father.
I don't know.
I don't even know who she is.
And then it cuts to the Emperor. That kid said he'll take my head off.
So I had to give her up.
I had to give up my daughter.
And then it just cuts to Paul. Then Paul's like, yeah.
That's right.
Hey, bump.
Messiah. Desert Messiah, right? That's what I'm like.
I don't know why that's where my head went. Like I really thought in the editing it was like, oh, cut to a confession corner. Cut to a confession corner.
It cuts to Paul. He's like, you know what? I said that. I was coming off the high of killing off my cousin. Everything was on the line. The houses are not gonna listen to me. I don't know where I was. I just said anything at this point.
You know how hard it is to stay focused freaking snorting spice like 24/7, dude. Oh, dude.
He's like, I'm streamlining spice.
You see this tube in my nostril?
Yeah.
Spice.
It's not air.
Spice.
You know why they recycle water?
Yeah.
All the water has spice in it,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh my God.
I also did like how they finally showed us how they take out the moisture from people. and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like
Or he just,
Yeah.
it was hot.
One guy was alive. One guy was like unconscious, and when it was happening, he's like, "No."
He's like, no, stop. Stop. And then the guy goes, I was like,
The
oh my
funny part
God.
about that line is like, it's tainted water. We can't drink it, but it's good use for cooling. And
I,
I'm like,
okay. I have to admit, Javier Bardem is by far
He
stole the show.
Yeah, he was the best.
oh, he was great.
Like he was I love it, just how much
As
comedy.
written, Paul was like, "I am not the Messiah," and it cuts to him like, "The Messiah is a humble person.
Yeah.
Of course he would say he's not the Messiah. That only means he's the Messiah."
Yeah. I think you started laughing because as soon as he said that, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I was like, that's how
So
religion
you
is.
have to go to the South to represent us as a leader. No, I'm gonna go to the North and fight with you guys, just as written as the prophecy. That he is the Messiah.
I'm afraid to go to the South, guys, because they are like hardcore believers down there. And I'm afraid that I will be the Messiah that they say they am.
Just like the Messiah would have said, right?
I just thought it was so funny where it was like, you know what? We got nukes.
Oh yeah, Josh Brolin's like, we got nukes. You know that, right?
So what nickname
I
do you
need
want?
something to win the war. And he's all, nukes.
We do have a nuke.
We have them.
We
Your dad left them behind.
So,
I just thought it was super
what
funny where they
nickname
were.
do you want us to give you? Oh, what's that sand mouse called?
Sand mouse,
It's like,
yeah.
Perfect
Wow.
name for a Messiah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, that's a.
Only the Messiah would call himself that.
Like, it makes this whole story of him like the North Star. That's what it's what it refers to. A great humble leader.
You know what that reminds me of the person that loves Dune, that basically tries to say that Dune is the greatest piece of
talking
science
himself
fiction
into Dune.
ever made, and just like, well, Dune. Well, there's stuff that's been, Star Wars is great. Dune is actually the prodigy of Star Wars. That came from it and stuff. It's like, what are you trying to say, man? Oh yeah, sandworms, those are really cool. Dune had sandworms. Like,
You think sarlaccs are cool?
yeah.
Sandworms.
Dude, can you write a Sarlacc?
Yeah.
No.
Star Wars had one of the greatest hero journeys.
You know who had the greatest hero's journey? Dune!
You ever read Apollo Atreus?
Yeah.
It's because it's a dude.
Also, I thought I remember we were talking about it in the parking lot when we were afterwards.
Yeah.
When we were all like, yeah, we have Baron, we have Leto,
Oh, yeah,
we
these
have
names.
Dustin,
Yeah.
we have all these others, and then it's like, oh yeah, who's that guy? That guy's Paul.
That's Paul. That's the Messiah. That's our main character.
I
Paul.
was like, what? Why is
Not the strongest name
yeah, not the
for a
strongest.
hero.
Wahadib?
Paul.
Yes,
It doesn't
Wahadib.
help
Yeah,
that
is
he was
better.
nicknamed after a desert mouse.
You know
Well,
what
no,
I
that's
think
Wahidi.
of Paul? It's a bald dude. I just think of that. It's automatically in my head. When I hear the name Paul, it's just a bald dude in a cubicle. Like,
Did you get the?
you get the TBS reports? Yeah. I'm named after the character Dude, right? Like,
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, oh, I murdered my wife, right?
All right, we got to wrap the show. We're already over 2 hours at this point. Final thoughts.
Dune was a fun movie.
Yeah, it's
great.
way better after this.
I think one of the things I liked about it was the final fight in it. With, with his
It was
cousin.
great.
Yeah, with
that was
With
Baron.
it was Wonka versus Elvis. It was good. Yeah.
Those Oompa Loompas are mine.
Mine. Not fine to say about it, Mama.
I think it would have been hilarious if we would have stabbed him and he's like, oh, your chocolate factory is mine, Wonka.
And he just points at the dad like, I'm gonna get that chocolate factory. If I have to give it a 1 out of 10, I'd give it a solid 7. It's a 7.
It's a 7.
It's a 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I think combined together, I feel like this is A solo movie, I would give it like maybe like a 4 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
As a solo movie, because I feel like you would just be lost.
Yeah.
As a combination of 1 and 2, I would give it like a solid 7 or an 8.
I am more on the 8 and 9 because I look at this movie and I say I can cut 15, 20 minutes off of it. A lot of it was in slow motion. The napping parts were unnecessary. A lot of visually beautiful moments that you can probably kind of cut off to save for time. But I didn't hate any aspect of it, even though the story was long. For me, it's a 9. I'll keep it at a 9. 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Not recommended, though. What if Sean comes back and he goes like, I didn't like Dune Part 2.
I get
I'm
it.
not shocked.
No, I get it. If somebody were to tell me that they didn't like this movie, I would get it. Like I would go like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I think the only thing that you can't say about this movie is that it's not pretty.
Yeah.
This movie is definitely very pretty.
Visually.
Visually, it's
the
very
opinion
compelling.
Is that you don't like this movie because you didn't understand it? I can understand that.
Yeah, I can't argue.
But
that.
you can't argue. But if someone were to say that this is a very terrible film and it shouldn't have been made,
No.
I can't agree with that.
I can see somebody not liking it because it's
Heavy?
It's heavy and it's not well paced.
Yeah, no, I get
The
that.
pacing is kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
But so is the book. So it's a good adaptation.
yeah.
I guess it's spot on.
Yes, it's spot on. Yeah.
Well, this brings us to the end of issue 188, guys. Check out our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com, for all the up-to-date information. Check out our website or our YouTube channel, Keeping Up with the Nerds. That's the only place you guys can get skits. Check out our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, x.com, and check out our streaming platforms, audio, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. I went all over the place there. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
tired.
Yeah.
I thought I started laughing because the only thing I thought was Elvis coming up to Wonka and going, "Come on, Wonka, what's your pros?"
Come on, Wonka.
Hey, take us away.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 188. My name is Rene.
This is Bryan.
Recording at Undercity Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Hello!